Hello. Hello. Double hello. Triple hello, even. Chat, if you can hear me, please tell me, then the MVP of your first Pokemon playthrough. And what you named them. If you can hear me, that's what I would like to hear from you. I heavily apologize that this stream is so lately announced, and I fear that it is almost certainly going to reflect poorly on what we do today. Venusaur, I've never beat a Pokemon game. I feel like every time I ask a question, 5K's answer has always been bleh. You sound lower pitched. I shouldn't be. Imagine if I just do a voice reveal just because I accidentally did this. I should have my pitched up mic ready. Welcome to the stream, by the way, QWERTY. I have my actual mic muted, so it should just be the pitched up one. Is this something everyone else sees? Is everyone else hearing that too? Please let me know. Venusaur, I love that. Love that. Bro, I need to get off Twitter today because the fucking Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green discourse has been so infuriating to watch and listen to. Everyone sucks. It's just like crazy how everyone's just like extremely annoying about it, but we're here to be a little bit more friendly than that, you know? The what? The Fire Red Leaf Green discourse. Basically, Nintendo Pokemon kind of shadow dropped that, some clues about how to find some of your other stream channel. I told them to 5K. Again, for the love of God, please don't. Please stop that. Unironically, please. Anyway, Fire Red Leaf Green, they've been shadow dropped as not Nintendo Switch Online subscription things. You sound exhausted. Yeah, I probably had a bit of an exhausting week. I'm okay though. I had some donuts earlier today, that helped. I told Lux to stop. Don't worry about it. Look, listen, as long as it's not shared like worldwide or whatever, I don't care all that much. Anyway. But yeah, so apparently Fire Red Leaf Green have been released on Nintendo Switch eShop rather than the Switch Online, like the NSO package, you know, as like a GBA game that you could use. And part of the reason why people are infuriated about that is because the games apparently cost $20 and everyone thinks that's too expensive because it's like a Game Boy Advance game. And I'm just sitting here being, bro, if it's enough money, whatever. I assume you'll stream at late for you. That will make it even more late for me, and I'm not gonna do that. No, I'll tell you that much. No, but I'm not ready to connect those lives together, and I really hope that people recognize that I prefer to keep those lives private until I decide that I'm ready to not do that. Anyway. So, but yeah, it's been a little annoying seeing, like, everyone just be so upset about, like, a $20 price tag, and everyone's like, just use emulation, stop making just stop supporting Nintendo when they do these stupid, like, price things. And I'm just like, bro, I don't care, $20 is whatever. I'm not gonna buy them, personally, just because I don't need to play Fire Red Leaf Green again. I genuinely have no reason to do that. But if anybody does buy it, great, good for them. Like, that's awesome. I'm glad you get to experience a game legally, you know? And I think it's very reasonable. I think it's a very reasonable price to be able to play these games. And you never know, they could connect. I believe that there was at one point the assumption that you could connect those Pokemon to Pokemon Home. So that would be fun. How much was Fire Red Leaf Green originally? I don't know, actually. I wasn't around back then. I think they were like... I think they were around $20. So I think they're about the same price that they were back then. And given inflation, that's less than what it used to be. But I think part of the problem was that the Wii U released them for like $8. And again, I get it. Like, why price them back up when you already lowered the price? But I think people just want handouts. I think people just want handouts. And I'm just like, bro, they're Pokemon games. They're fun. $20 is fine. I think it's whatever. Anyway. That's kind of where I'm at. As for what we're doing today on stream, I played Fire Red Leaf Green so much on emulators, I don't know what Pokemon I haven't used. I think those were complaining were before GBA. Maybe. I don't know. I don't care. my opinion is, dude, play what you want. Play whether you like the game, whether you don't like the game. Considering that I'm probably gonna pay $70 for Pokopia, I feel like I am in no position of, you know, authority here. Fire Red Leaf Green costed more back when it first came out in 2004. Basically, yeah. And, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there isn't a reasonable amount of... It is reasonable to expect a discount. But, like, I still think $20 is a fine deal. So, like, you know, however you want to do it. I know people were really upset about, like, Mario Galaxy coming out for, was it $60? Was it $40? Was it $50? One of those. It was, like, somewhere in that range, and people were still upset about it, because I think there was, like, a select number of Nintendo re-releases that were, like, $20 or something like that back in the day, which, to be honest, I don't remember. You had Sushi Day? Hell yeah, love that. I don't remember that. So, like... For me, it was always a $50 game, and I just always considered it like that. And I don't really blame Nintendo for trying to put together, like, a fully completed project for the price that they made it when they, you know, released it. I would say raising the price would be one thing, but putting it out for relatively the same price, if not lower than when it originally came out, I don't think there's a problem with that. I'm sure some people are complaining that it wasn't as low as it used to be, but frankly, that's where you lose me. I just don't care as much. Anyway, those are some various thoughts of the day. Yeah, let's talk about what we're doing today. I'm kind of stalling for time just to see if maybe Wooden will come here, because I know they really wanted to do this. I'll probably keep this VOD live for longer if they don't wind up making it, but here's the plan. You guys asked me a ton of questions. As a reminder, back when I first released the project, I offered a few Patreon perks, and one of them was if you joined the $5 tier in Patreon, you would get access to the character Q&A. Basically, the ability to ask questions to the cast. And over the days... mostly Siegen asks, because I think Siegen's the only $5 perk who's taking advantage of that. The only other one is Frotons in the $5 tier, and I think they're mostly just there for financial support. Either way, where's the bathroom? Don't ask me these things. This is a question I just never bothered to answer as far as the lore. Although I am glad people are asking questions about the lore, because this is kind of your opportunity to ask me questions about the world itself. However, I am also committing myself to a spoiler-free stream as well. But yeah, so there was a brief period, a few weeks after I released the game, where I offered you the ability to ask these questions for free. And I know Plumfadoodle definitely took advantage of that and asked like 50 questions. I don't blame them. I love answering the questions, and I was happy to do it. Since then, it's been a Patreon perk And I, I've been having fun with them. Someone specifically, Wooden Pea Shooter, has asked me to basically read out all of the free time events, just to kind of get a bit of a, everything is in one place sort of thing, so they don't have to look back on all this stuff. Which is, again, kind of why I'm stalling a little bit. But I figured we'd at least, like, read through a few of them, and then maybe pick up the rest for a later date, because I don't think we're going to get through all of them. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're just going to go read through all these questions and talk a little bit more about them. And if there's anything I have more to add, if there's just fun stories or anything that you want to do. So the stream is just you talking with chat. In a sense, it's really just there are questions that have been asked in the past. And you guys, and basically I had the cast respond. I'm in first place. Yay, you did it. You did it, Clarity. I have no idea how EXP works, but you did it. Nonetheless, let me see if I have this properly set up. Okay. So, I'm gonna quickly move this down a little bit, and then same with the bottom thing here. Something like that. And then maybe expand this a little bit more. So, part of the issue is that this is probably going to be a little bit out of place. Do you think you'll get to my birthday request today? We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, let's do... Let's see, I can expand this a little bit more now that I'm seeing the scrolling text. So we're going to go through these today. I don't think you guys can see this one all that well. So what I'm gonna... The thing is, as we go along, eventually all of them will be squares. Because everything that I've saved to my image file has been the YouTube ones that I then post. And... yeah. After that, everything should stop, like, zooming in and out. And then I can, like, kind of do more of these, like, cropping things. So let's... We're gonna kind of improvise this a little bit. So we're gonna just quickly make this a little bit smaller and then zoom it out a bit. And then we're gonna have to, like, do this a lot, like, do a lot of this adjusting early on. So let me know if you guys can read all of the text on screen. Ask if I can have a free time event. That's somewhat the cast says happy birthday to me. Yes, that did happen. We'll get there. Can everybody read this text? If not, let me know. And I can try to make it bigger. This is probably gonna be a lot of, adjusting of things. Whoops. Nope. Yes. I can read it. Fantastic, fantastic. Alright. I don't think this is the first one. I don't think this is the first question. But this is the first one in my list. Initially, before I actually started labeling them, they were a little bit out of order. So, we're just gonna hope that we get through all of them. There might be a few that I miss. But nonetheless, here we go. Might as well start with this one. So Plumfadoodle, so this is back when I had the character questionnaire basically be free for a brief period of time, and Plumfadoodle definitely took advantage of that. Oh, by the way, I should probably quickly remind everybody what this little icon means, the IU, and later it'll be OOU. IU basically means in-universe, right? So that basically means that based on what has happened in the game thus far, these characters are going to be answering as though the killing game is ongoing, active, and they're basically doing a confessional like in a reality show. So if you've ever seen like Survivor or Big Brother, you'll see like the contestants constantly make use of a confessional cam. This is vaguely like that. IU generally means that the cast is in the killing game, living through it right now, and you are basically asking them this question under that context. Out-of-universe questions basically just means whatever else is going on, right? All of these, by the way, I need to remind everybody, are non-canonical. None of what you see here today has happened. There's no ifs, thens, buts about it. None of what these characters have said, or any of the events that are portrayed within, none of that has actually ever happened. This is all just supplemental material that is bonus and will not affect the story in any way. This is all just for fun. It's all just bonus content. Any other questions before I start reading these? As far as like format or anything else similar to that, please let me know if you have any more. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get started. Because what's the delay at this point? This music. You know what? Hold on. We're gonna switch these. We're just gonna switch this music to just very calm, the calm playlist. All right, that's better. I don't know what this intense music was playing as we were doing it. You know. All right. So we're starting off with Plumpthedoodle asks, to anyone, do any of you feel any downsides with not being in your pre-evolved forms anymore in universe? Sylvia, so I had the idea of just making 4 people answer. I actually think I have, whoops. I actually think I have, a thing where I have everyone answer. But I don't think you'd be able to see all of these responses, so I believe I have them one at a time. So, Sylvia says, sure, I mean, having the option to evolve into something else was kind of ripped from me, but I can't really think of another form I'd rather be. And then I believe Alpha says, I feel that. Let's see. Yep, you can read that. I feel that. I like my midday form, but I've always wondered what it's like to stand on 2 legs. Referencing his midnight form. And then I believe... who else is in this? Spruce. When I was younger, I used to climb trees all the time. Now that I'm evolved, that hobby is not nearly as flexible, with me being 10 times heavier. But that's alright. Someday I'd have to break the habit. A little bit of a backstory on Bruce. And finally, who was the last one in this list? Karalti. I think that might be the very beginning. Hell no! My wings are the fucking best! I never want to go back! So a variety of answers, right? A couple of the characters feel like, you know, it would be nice to be able to go back to my pre-evolved form, but most of them are relatively fine with where they were going, considering that they were on that path regardless. But with the exceptions of, like, Alpha and Sylvia, you know, they didn't really get the choice of what they could evolve into, but largely that was going to come down to whatever trainer they had as well. We also have another Sylvia question. What lore has been said? Just the one question. When you've come just in time. The only question I answered so far was this one, which was, I'll quickly read it again, so that you can catch up. To anyone. So Plumpthedoodle asks, and do you need me to remind you what IU and OOU means? Do you have Mr. Rouse theme from Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice in your playlist? I don't, because I have not actually played Spirit of Justice yet. That's on my to-do list. I will get there eventually. We'll see when I can do that. I'm currently on Chronicles 2, Case 2, and then I'm going to play Dual Destinies, and then Spirit of Justice, and then the investigations. Anyway, let me read these out again. So, once again, this was back when I had the free edition of this going. I had that going for like a week, where Plumpthedoodle basically bombarded me with a bunch of questions, which was totally fine. Plumpthedoodle asks, to anyone, do any of you feel any downsides from not being in your pre-evolved forms anymore? Sylvia, I chose to answer. She said, sure, I mean, having the option to evolve into something else is kind of ripped for me, but I can't really think of another form I'd rather be. Alpha, let me quickly go to that. Alpha then responds, yeah, I feel that. I like my midday form, but I've always wondered what it's like to stand up on 2 legs. And then we have Bruce, who says, when I was younger, I used to climb trees all the time. Now that I'm evolved, that hobby is not nearly as flexible, with me being 10 times heavier. But that's alright. Someday I'd have to break that habit. And then, finally, we have Karalti all the way at the beginning here, going, hell no! My wings are the fucking best! I never want to go back! So that was the only question I've answered so far. So those are both in universe, or that was in universe. So basically, the characters in this context have no memories of ever being anything else. All right, propellers, turbines. I don't think I've seen them in ages, but they got a chance to ask a question back when the questions were free, and they asked to Sylvia, "Are you happy as a Sylveon? If not, what other evolution would you evolve it into?" Also in universe, and Sylvia responded, "I was pretty surprised to be a Sylveon when I woke up. They have one of the coolest shiny colorations, and the ribbons were a nice bonus. It's nice. It's like having extra limbs if I need them." And then she also says, "I'm not really sure what my second choice would have been. My memories of being an Eevee are pretty thin, so what my past self wanted was a mystery. I guess it would have been nice to have some psychic powers like an Espeon, but its shiny coloration is kinda pukey. Glaceon's nice, but its shiny is lame. And Umbreon has a nice shiny, but I don't really vibe with the dark and gloominess. Sylveon's probably the best case scenario." So there's a little insight into Sylvia. She likes being a Sylveon. She wasn't really sure if another hashtag Sylvia's trans. She is the trans colors, to be fair. But I think I have a free time event talking about their sexualities later. Alright, what else do I have? Oh, yes. Great question. Frotons asked, to me, Forrest, how did you choose who you chose for the cast? By now, I think you all know the answer to this. Oh, hold on. You guys cannot see that. This is why I am very glad that I can quickly crop as we go. So let me just quickly... Oh, hold on. I also need to crop up above. Can you all read that? I assume you can. I'll be an hour by. Alright, no problem, Siege. And most of your questions will come in an hour. Sylvia's first thought is a psychic type. She's thinking of Mew. She's the mastermind. As a reminder, as a triple reminder, these are non-canonical and will not have any effect on the game itself. They will not reference these questions in-game. They will not have acknowledged these questions in-game, because these questions did not happen in-game. Anyway. So Frotons asked, to me, how did you choose who you chose from the cast? And this is actually something that I've talked a lot about recently, so let me quickly answer what I said. I said, fantastic question, one I was genuinely hoped would get asked. The biggest factor is that every shiny in Pokenronpa is based on a shiny I actually have in real life, and that includes Mew, which may have been a Wonder Trade Act shiny, but how else was I ever going to get a shiny Mew? It is still them, you're right, yes, they are still in character. Most of the cast of Pokenronpa was selected because of an obsession I have of giving a personality and backstory to my virtual besties. Eventually, those personalities developed deeply, some quickly became favorites, and suddenly I needed a story to drop my new OCs into. Yes. Do I have more on this? Yes, I have more on that. Let's see if I... Yep, and here's the other one. I think you guys can still read. Nope, there's some more that's cut off. Let me quickly fix that. There we go. Once I had formed the general outline of the story and deaths, I needed to fill those roles. The cast went through many changes as it developed, but the ultimate deciding factor was balancing two things: type representation and generation representation. I nearly succeeded, but I couldn't find a shiny that I liked was bug type. The closest was Frostmoth, but I couldn't find a fit for her. And no, I wasn't getting Selkie. I love Selkie too much to have her. Maybe someday once the game is done, I'll talk about the casting process for Pokenronpa. It's a fun story, and I have done this since. There's a post on my Patreon that you can actually, if you're a $2 patron or above, you can actually access this for free. But if you want to get access to this post on your own, then you can just you can have a one-time $5 purchase and then see the story of how I chose the Pokenronpa cast, because it's actually pretty interesting, and it is non-spoiler. So, there's that. Alright, what was the next question? Is there any questions that people have before I continue? Ooh, can you guys read these ones? I don't think so. Do I have individual ones for this? I don't think I do. When do I actually start getting into... Oh, I do. I already started getting into them. Okay, so this is actually... We're now actually into the ordered territory. So now I actually have numbers for these. So I'm gonna have to... I actually don't have a better image for this. So I'm gonna have to... I might have to do these... Scroll all of these individually. 1 second here. Let me get this. Can you guys read this text? Whoops. Can everyone read this text? Because we're going to be doing a little bit more of this. Just let me know if you guys can read it. Want to make sure that you can see everything that's going on. I'll go ahead and read it while I let you respond. So Plumfadoodle asks, to Naga, what do you think of death game roleplays? And this is the first one that's out of universe, which basically means that this does not happen in the context of the killing game. These guys don't have any like memory loss issues. It's basically just, you know, you're asking them as if the killing game didn't happen. And Naga goes, well, if my character dies, it's game over, you know? So whatever a death game is, it should be fairly balanced as far as just challenge and risk to be worth playing. Unless a death game is a specific kind of roleplay I'm not aware of. So a couple of things about this. First of all, the reason why this was asked to Naga in particular is because Naga, in her character profile, listed that she liked role-playing games. I think she said role-playing games. If not, she might have just said role-playing. But she, that's the reason she was asked this. She liked to do that kind of stuff. Now, the other thing that I need to acknowledge here is that I would probably not answer this question the same way if it was asked today, because of something that will come up later. But for now, Naga doesn't really know what you're talking about when you say, death game roleplay. Alright, next up, I have to quickly adjust this again. Make this bigger. Shifty then responds, I wonder if they're talking about murder mystery games. Those are kind of death-themed roleplays. So Shifty, of course, being a bit of a gamer. Oh god, Naga, what did you do? Shifty obviously being the expert on, you know, game stuff, is, of course, someone who can respond to that. Naga then responds. Oops. Whoa, those sound fun. We should do those. Pretty simple. Hopefully we'll get through these awkwardly spaced questions soon, because there's a lot of these before I figure out the formula for how I'm going to do them. This is a question we already did. And this is also a question of what we did. There we go. This next one is luckily a nice easy one-pager. I apologize. Eventually, I can actually get to a point where I don't have to do these crops anymore, because they'll all be on like one page. Although they might be a little small, so I might have to make them a little bit bigger. All right. Plumfadoodle asks, to Sylvia, what's the scariest bug in universe? And Sylvia goes, it would have been good to ask me before I lost my memory, because I'm having a hard time remembering the names of bugs. Shedinja comes to mind, I guess. Something about its lifeless body just hovering in the air, without much you can do to it. Just, ugh. This was asked because Sylvia, I believe in her character profile, it said that she dislikes bugs. So, that's very simple. Not much to talk about with that. And then Plumfadoodle asked this question, which, to be honest, I don't know how I'm supposed to answer it. But she literally just said, to Sylvia, Wild West insecticide, which is not a question. And Sylvia just says, bleh, gross. This happens a lot. A lot of times people don't even ask questions, they just do things to get a reaction from the cast. And it's not like I can do much about it. It's like, what do I respond to this with? Just like, like, these are the kind of things where it's just like, I don't know what to say. She'd say gross, you know? That's kind of it. Alright, once again, we have weird cropping. Gonta PDSD. Yes, that is the name of Gonta's spoiler for Danganronpa V3. That was the name of Gonta's execution. Anyway, hopefully you guys can read the text on this one. Pumpadoodle asks, to Hina, donut. Once again, not a question. Not exactly a question. Nonetheless, I figured I'd use this opportunity to poke fun of things a little bit. So Hina goes, yeah, I've heard of those, but I haven't had a chance to try one since I was wild only a bit ago. Obviously this is in-universe, so Hina doesn't have her memories of what donuts are, and obviously I think this is a reference to the fact that her name is Hina. So, and I very much regret doing this while 5K is in the chat, because I know exactly what they're about to say, but, I decided to poke fun of this. Again, at the time I would not make this joke strictly because of how much it's memed to death about it. Mew then responds with, strange. I have this feeling that in some alternate timeline, you're really obsessed with donuts. just breaking and shattering the fourth wall, because Mew, of all Pokemon, is allowed to do that. Let's be honest here. No one's allowed to do that but Mew, because Mew is special and Mew is Mew. And then, of course, he then responds with a very simple, I know you're gonna ask that, and again, the answer is always the same as it has been. It is simply her name. It is simply her name. You don't have to believe me, but it is simply her name. It is, in fact, a name. There you go. Anyway, and then she goes, ha! Go away! So, basically, she's just like, well, yeah, I, like, when the question is donut, Hina's simple response is, yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't had one. And then he was like, huh, I'm gonna break the fourth wall. And then he was like, God, get away from me! I think that's pretty funny. Alright, this is another good one. This is another out-of-universe question, so once again, nothing to do with the actual game itself. Ugh, I have to make this smaller. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see this text on the screen? Because this is largely square. So this is going to be pretty close to the actual size that you guys are going to be seeing for most of these responses. Because if you guys can't read this text on the bottom here, that's where we start running into issues. Anyway, Plumfadoodle asked, to Lecture, who has the worst fashion sense? And I believe this was asked because Lecture said that he didn't like fashion, or something to that effect. Lecture goes, Arceus, I'm thankful we don't have to wear clothes, because if we did, Sylvia and Mozilla would find a way to stuff me in some kind of idiotic getup. I can hardly stand wearing a birthday hat whenever we do these stupid birthday parties. If you want me to name who looks the worst in any kind of getup, Shifty. Only because he gets way into any and all costumes. Shifty would absolutely be a cosplayer out of universe. Thus that question primarily fits with him. Then we got another quick question. Plumfadoodle asks, to Depression, do you like saltwater taffies? I genuinely do not know why they asked this. Maybe because Plumfadoodle, or because, maybe, did I put Depression, like, in candy in her, like, cast thing? Because I genuinely have no idea what this is referencing. And then Depression goes, wait, is that a taffy made of salt water? I thought salt water was bad for you. That's why I avoid drinking it. Is Shifty Samugi? No. No. You gotta get these comps out of your head. If I reference something, it's for a joke. It is absolutely for a joke. Anyway, yeah, I genuinely have no idea why Plumfadoodle asked this. To my knowledge, there was I had no idea what this was referencing. If this is some kind of reference at all, even. Alright. I forget what the context is for this, but at some point I had made a state of fact that, Karalty does not like, yoga. Pokemon Fire Red re-release gonna have DLC. Why would that be? What would the DLC look like? So in universe, Plumfadoodle asks, Karalty, are you not flexible enough for yoga? It feels like a Pokemon Game Freak move. I don't know, man. I sincerely doubt it. That doesn't necessarily make sense to me. But anyway. So Plumfadoodle asks, to Karalty, are you not flexible enough for yoga? And Karalty responds, flexible schmexible. The point is that yoga is stupid. Who wants to wake up stupid early in the morning, go outside, wispy to each other, and then stretch? For hours. Nobody. Because that's fucking weird. I don't care what anyone says. It is not relaxing. Because depression on the ground left salt water on them like puddles. I don't know what people are talking about. They're gonna put the Orange Islands behind a paywall. I have no idea how the Orange Islands worked in the original game, to be fair. And then Karalty then goes, and for the record, I am flexible. I don't know who you think you're accusing me of being bad at something. I can't help that my wings get in the way. Shut up! Isn't depression a rock type? She is not. She is pure ground. She is pure ground. Alright. Next one. If you ever need me to go back to any of them, by the way, let me know. Yes, depression is pure ground. The Sevi Islands. Orange Islands is the anime. I mean, even so. Plumfadoodle asks in universe to Mozilla, are those plants in your background edible? And Mozilla goes, I checked earlier. They certainly look like they're growing something edible. I'm curious what though. Never played the first Gen 1 remakes. Yeah, I have, but I'm not gonna buy the new ones because, you know, I don't need to. And then she responds going, wait, what do you mean my backyard? I don't care what the sign says. That can't be my house. I just woke up in it. Sevi Islands basically had Johto Pokemon trading in Moltres. Yep, that was basically what the point of the Sevi Islands was. Is it Nightshade? I don't actually know what Nightshade is. Isn't it like a deadly plant or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, Mozilla's saying, yes, something's growing in her backyard, but she doesn't know what. Also, she doesn't want to call it her backyard because she just doesn't like the idea that it's her house. We're at the point where I feel like I don't have to do any adjusting. It's like mostly just squares at this point. Plumfadoodle asks, to Mew, thoughts on Mono Mew? Another in-universe question. Mew goes, oh, is this a word puzzle? I love puzzles! In case you can't tell, Mew has never heard of Mono Mew. Because what is Mono Mew? In universe. So, there's that. Let's see. Mono means one, and Mew means me, so you must be asking me on how unfair it is that there's only one of me in the world! I totally agree, by the way. Do you see how awesome I am? There should be 1,000 of me. I love this I love how I answered this question, because, like, again, Mew doesn't know what this is. Fun fact, tomatoes are nightshades. Interesting. I asked this question before that Fangin was canceled. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that there was a Fangin that this was referencing. Also, welcome to the stream, Plumfadoodle. Yeah, so this was a, it's hard for me to answer some of these questions when it's like, it is completely, like, especially in-universe questions, like, if they don't know what you're talking about, then there's not really much they can say. But like I said, I do reference this in a later prompt, at least as far as out-of-universe questions go. And oh yeah, I forgot I added this part on too. I said, man, now I have to think about a Monami equivalent for the sequel, don't I? I forgot I said that. I'm not gonna. I totally forgot I said that. Legendary killings. I mentioned it to you before. Yes, I did see. When I search Pokenronpa, I do see that pretty often. But nonetheless, I am now the Pokenronpa. If you Google Pokenronpa, I mean, he is the ancestor of all Pokemon. Yes, they are the they are the ancestor. So at some point there were a lot of them. Yeah, basically. All right. This is officially where I make the shift. So this is where I kind of have to address what's going on here. So let me just make this bigger, or make this more legible. I don't know if you guys can actually read this. I might just put this over the text just to make it a little bigger so you guys can read it. Hopefully you guys can read the text here. Please let me know if you can. Besides Scythe, what nicknames do you have for Shiny Absol? The funny thing was his name was temporarily Alex, but just because of how long he took for me to get him, and that is an inside joke between me and my friends about things that whenever it takes a very long time to find one particular creature, or just takes particular long time to do something specific, whatever is causing the holdup or is the coveted one is Alex. I don't know why. It was just a funny joke. Anyway, Esgreek79 asks, to anyone, who is the biggest Danganronpa fan? OOU. And this is the point where I officially made a shift. And I'll quickly read out what I said because it perfectly explains my dilemma here. And I'll go a little bit more because this question basically permanently changed whatever I said throughout the rest of these free time events. Otherwise, they were going to be very, very boring. So what I said was, so I kind of dug myself into a hole here. I've been stubbornly thinking that if I stuck to the canon I thought of in my head about the world where the killing game wasn't happening, it would be possible to answer these questions. But with so many questions being pop culture related in a world where they possibly haven't even heard of said things, it makes responding to them boring because 90% of the time the answer would be, what's that? So fuck it. It's non-canonical anyways. The cast has heard of whatever you ask of me, and unless I myself have no idea how to answer the question, they'll give an informed answer. Unless, of course, it's somehow funnier if they answer without knowing. So, basically, you pretty much can tell what the dilemma is based on what I said here. A lot of the time, people would ask questions about, like, what's your thought on this thing? What do you think about this? And very often, if I tried to stick through the canon of what out-of-universe meant, most often the question, the answer for most of the cast would simply be, I don't know what you're talking about. And that's not fun. Like, you guys are asking these questions because you want to see these guys give, like, silly, stupid answers, right? You want these guys to react to whatever you're talking about. So, like, if I just make everyone be like, I have no idea what that is, that's not exactly fun, you know? Did he say dilemma? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. If I ever get $1, I'm gonna ask Depression if she wants Batman's giant penny. I don't even know what that would be. Also, I feel like Depression is one of the few characters that can get away with the whole I don't know what you're talking about thing because she barely knows what anything is to begin with. But yeah, so anytime you ask, from this point on, if you asked an out-of-universe question, and the question was basically referencing something that the characters would otherwise not know about, now they have, you know? Because I want them to give some opinion on something so that you guys would have funny answers and all that stuff. So, in this case, again, in this one particular question, in the context of it, they know what Danganronpa is, and thus can now play it. So, does that make sense? Right? Like, I wanted to make it so that it was a little bit more possible for people to basically ask questions that could actually get answers besides, I don't know. Just to make things a little bit better. Anyway, Depression is the obligatory child character? So you think. Anyways, So, thus, now the characters have heard of Danganronpa, and now I answer the questions accordingly. So Shifty, of course, the resident, you know, gamer-obsessed guy, starts with saying, "Ooh, I love Danganronpa! I love the thrill of trying to predict who dies and who lives, and seeing my favorites die crushed my heart so much!" Next up, we have Oren, who I guess is here now. He says, "They're goofy games, alright. I haven't started V3 yet, but I have to wonder what it's like to finally play a girl protagonist." See what I mean? Like, having Oren know what Danganronpa means so much more and gives so much better context to me answering funny and interestingly for this reason. So, I figured that would be a fun way of doing it. And then, of course, you have Sylvia, who has my favorite response. "Justice for Ishimondo!" Because I guess Sylvia is like that. I love these guys. Who's gonna tell him exactly? Alright. Now we have another very big question. Oh my god, this is an ancient question. I really mean this when I say this question is fucking ancient. I want to see if I can update you guys on this one. After Chapter 1 releases, the free time events will have new sprites? Not necessarily. Oh, fuck. This is actually a lot bigger than what I have here. Yep. Oh, this is out of order. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, this is out of order. Hold on. Whoopsie daisy. Why her ribbon zigzags? Because they wanted to do something different. It doesn't look good. I like how you guys are talking about how the sprites are different, specifically as I pull up that Sylvia one. I took a risk. It didn't pay off. I'll admit it. I can't wait to see how it's redrawn. So this is a question I am glad was asked because I am curious if people are interested in hearing how it has changed. So the question was, Plumfadoodle asks, to Forrest, what's the most common way people have found your game, and how many new people have you generally gotten per day so far in the first week? Basically, this was a week after the game started, so this is like April, like, I don't know, like 20th or something like that. Fun fact, the song played in Kaede's execution, the Flea Waltz, is played with only black notes, but Kaede only steps on white keys. Oh my god, we're not making... I feel like I know where this joke is going. Anyway, so this question was later in the queue, but I wanted to answer it now because it's a good opportunity to reflect on this past week, which, by the way, has been one of the happiest and most incredible weeks of my life, no exaggeration. It's something I've always dreamed about being a part of, I've always dreamed of being a part of to have my funny story ideas interest people in a way that so many of mine have done before. So seriously, thank you. Yeah, so back when I did the first week of Pokenronpa, it was like crazy how many people were playing it. And it was just one of the most heartwarming things. That first week where I got so much feedback, so much love. To this day, I still feel incredibly nice. Everything the fact that Kaede died for no reason. It's just making fun of my talent playing the sing wrong. Yeah. So yeah, so this is genuinely one of the coolest thing in the game. This is one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. Yeah, so this is where the second one gets in here. So now we actually need to do this. It's not, you guys won't be able to play. I'd love to hear how you guys all discovered the project, by the way. So I then say, this is back when the game first came out. Actually, you see the answer right on itch.io itself. The top answer is YouTube, which makes sense. 61 people have subscribed to the channel as of writing this. Bro, what are we at now? Like 260 something? Oops. We have, it's like 260 something. 2 orbs almost, yeah. So actually see the answer right here on the issue itself. The top answer is YouTube, which makes a lot of sense. 61 people have subscribed to the channel as of writing this, and it's gotten the most views out of anything I've posted about Pokenronpa by far. After that is the link itself, which might be all me trying to get the website up. Yeah, back when I was trying to get the website figured out, I had to click on my bookmark of Pokenronpa over and over and over again. So those are probably all me, the 21 times there. And then after that is, let's see. I think if you have the game linked in your bookmarks, clicking it counts toward that link. Yep, so that makes sense. Then it's Blue Sky, which is significantly behind YouTube. You Blue Sky folks, you've got to step it up, play the game. Yeah, if any of you are on Blue Sky, you got to click that link more often. Then we have a ton of different itch.io tags. Combined, I think they create the most traffic, which makes sense since that does all the advertising I can't do. The other funny ones to mention are the 4 people that have somehow found me on Bing, and for whatever reason, 2 separate Blue Sky links. I already told you it was giving a random recommendation. I think it was about one needing artist. Ah, gotcha. That's pretty awesome. So a couple of fun ones since then. I remember there was one point where there was like a ChatGPT reference apparently. I saw one that said like ChatGPT gave a link at some point. I don't know how, but it was very confused. I'm likely the one Blue Sky clicker. Probably. We'll see. I also had, I know there's some people on Blue Sky. I know Blue Sky has gotten, like, moderate attention since then. A couple of other Blue Sky ones are, I'm trying to think of, a couple of other funny ones. DuckDuckGo is a pretty common search I see. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of other clicks that have been very interesting so far. There's been, apparently Pokenronpa's on the visual novel database now, which is pretty neat. So that's pretty interesting. Alright, back to the next one. Then we have this. Make sure that you guys can read this. Overall, about 100 people have taken the time to actually play the game, which might seem like small to a lot of you, but to me that generally means a lot. I can actually confirm how many have played the game now. Let me quickly pull up that total. The total who have currently played the game as of saying this today, 942. So we are nearly at 1,000 total plays since the game came out, which is pretty fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty great. I've seen playthroughs, thanks to Faynova for that one, predictions, and even some fan art, which is so much more than I ever expected from this. Yeah, this is back when it was just a week old, and I was just, like, crazy excited about this. Yo, our legend. We peaked on Wednesday the 16th at 33 total people playing the game, and since then it's been a bit slower. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I don't think I've ever reached more than, like, 10 plays since that day. That's to be expected. Hype has to die down eventually, and again, this is literally just the prologue. There's hardly 2 hours worth of content to talk about, but that's okay. I'm going to keep working, and hopefully people are hyped for whenever Chapter 1 happens. The fact that we've been able to stay relatively consistent since then is pretty awesome. And, yeah. There was also a YouTube one. Hold on. And then we also see that YouTube has similarly slowed down, but these are numbers I never could have seen myself reaching. I've had attempts to run a YouTube channel before that I never got to see this kind of success, especially right off the bat, so I'm incredibly grateful that the audience have taken the chance to watch and subscribe to see what this cool, weird game idea is. Genuinely, all of you who have played the game, it genuinely means so much, so I appreciate it. Alright. This is another funny one, and I've been thinking about this one a lot. Funfadoodle asks, to Forrest, do you have a hypothetical execution ideas for the entire cast? And my response is, I don't even think I have execution ideas for the eventual culprits. I think that's one of my favorite answers. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not me asking for questions. Can you give a super cryptic word clue for something that happens in Chapter 1? I've done that so many times. To be honest, I played the prologue after you first stream it where you played the prologue. I mean, that was kind of part of the thing as well. I wanted you guys to experience the opportunity to play it for yourself. I think a lot of people really like those playthroughs where I play through the game, so I'm definitely going to do that as well. Hello, Tofu Dispenser. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, so basically, once again, just reminding everyone that I'm not looking for execution ideas. I am excited to find this challenge myself. It's just, that is beyond... Like, I do have, like, the characters who are eventually going to die and what their executions are going to be relatively. But I actually need to figure out how I'm going to implement it. But nonetheless, something to keep in mind. Alright, we're getting to that point where everything is about to be square-shaped. And I can stop readjusting these things. Can everyone still read all the text on here? Let me know if you can't. Plumfoodle asks, to Forest, if the game was an actual escape room without the killing game, how long would it take the cast to solve it? I'm glad you asked me this question, because asking the cast that would just be basically them being like, I would do this, and it's just like, well, now I could actually theorize. Depends on how well they'd work together. Shifty, Sylvia, Nash, Alpha, and Depression would definitely get super into it, but I don't think any of them, outside of Sylvia, would really be making any smart decisions. Alpha, Orin and Selkie would probably be carrying the majority of the puzzles. Karalti and Lecture would probably be just annoy the rest of the cast. Sensei and Ember would probably just abstain from participating altogether. And Naga, Rudy, Bruce, Hina, and Mazel would probably just be happy to be included. Finally get a chance of getting a new device in a few days will make playing this game so much easier. I sincerely hope so. I need to actually figure out how to reduce lag on my end anyway. Alright. But yeah, no, this is a fun question. Now I have to do this fucking thing. God damn it. Eventually, I'm gonna be able to get to a point where I don't have to adjust these at all because they should all just show up at the right size. I've answered this question a lot, but I'm going to answer it again, of course. Puffadoodle asks, to Forest, have you seen any other Fangans? And I respond, not really. I typically avoid them because most of the time they never reach completion. Here's hoping that mine doesn't follow the trend. That's not really the reason at this point. I've said it before, but the main reason that I avoid Fangans is largely because I don't want to leech. I largely want to focus my attention on the game itself. But yeah, so I'm trying to, I'm trying not to, like, take too much inspiration from common Fangan tropes, essentially. Because a lot of the times you guys have been mentioning, like, oh, this is the support character. Oh, this is the X character. I don't want to get familiarized with what the tropes of Fangans look like. So I'm trying to be relatively, impartial to those. That being said, I did say that I remember one I played a while back that was an actual full Fangan from start to finish. I wish I remember more about it. It's not on my computer anymore, and I don't even remember the name of it. I think the main character's name was Italian with the last name Canzanilla or something along those lines. I remember a swearing sailor, a creepy girl character, and Chapter 3 having a pro tag swap. So maybe that rings a bell for someone out there. It was solid. I liked it alright, and you guys have since let me know that that was H2O. Like H2O, another Danganronpa or something like that. I enjoyed that game. It was fun. I mostly did it because I knew it was a completed game, and it was a playable game. Those are kind of the two reasons I chose that game in particular. It was very fun, you know? Alright, back to this. We got our, maybe our only, or at least one of the few 5,000p questions. What else are we supposed to go off of? What do you mean? I know what 5K was trying to do when they asked this question. So 5K asked, to everyone, quickly, if one of you were behind this, who do you suspect? That's an in-universe question. And Orin asks, one of us? Responsible for this horror killing game idea? No way! I refuse to believe any of us would ever devise something so cruel. We only have the tropes right now, exactly. But I'm trying to just create something original. That was my idea before I played anything. Ember, of course, then responds, if one of you were responsible, that's a sin beyond redemption. I'll hold nothing back in delivering a swift and relentless beating by my swords. I'll cut you down and burn you from the inside. Lecture, of course, goes... Lecture actually answers the question, going, Shifty, I don't trust dark types, especially when skilled in changing their form. And he brought onto this game way too fast. Somewhere around 50% of questions were actually me. Yeah. It should be Siege's questions, considering that they're the ones that are paying to actually be able to use the perk. But that's just me. And then Shifty goes, excuse me? You think I'm responsible for this shit? Arceus, no, this stuff is nightmare-inducing. And those are the 4 answers to that question. So there's that. So in case you were trying to get information on who the mastermind was, you weren't gonna get it. No matter what, you weren't gonna get it. Blumfidoodle asks, to anyone, is there any Pokemon you'd enjoy being other than what you are? I thought this is a really fun thing to think about. So Selkie just responds, I don't know if I'd say I prefer it necessarily, but being a bipedal Pokemon with opposable thumbs might be rather nice. I have some minor psychic abilities, but none of them strong enough to turn the pages of my favorite books with consistency. Alpha then goes, I'm sure I'd probably get far more respect as a fire type. I always wonder what it would be like to be a pyro, for example. It's kind of fun to think about these. Lecture then responds, I don't know. I guess it would have been pretty cool to be a Flamigo. And then everybody's just like, what? Everybody's shocked at that response. And then Lecture's just like, what? Like, what? I forgot I did that. I love going through this because I totally forgot what I answered for a lot of them. This is a good one. This is a good question. Oh, here we go. Here's our first spoiler question. So, as I've mentioned before, I have some questions that I cannot answer because they are spoilers. And Mew, obviously, knowing a lot more about the context of the killing game than anyone else, often will not be actually be able to answer these questions. When Plumpoodle asked, Mew, from the first impressions in the auditorium, who do you think is the most likely winner? And Mew just goes, it's funny because, and then beep, and then they just giggle, tee-hee-hee-hee-hee. Now, the reason why that this is the one thing that you should know is that I actually have the draft of this original question still somewhere in my drafts. And then once that the information you need to know about this question gets revealed, Mew will, or I will unspoiler it, and then you guys will see what I wrote all the way back then. These are still in my drafts, and then once we get to the point in the game where they are no longer spoilers, I will post the unspoiled product. Because I figure that would be fun. I think there's still more to this question. Yeah. And then Mew says, anyways, have you seen Orin? He gives us such protagonist energy. I bet he's going to be the one solving every murder and everyone's just going to fall in line. But then again, who knows? He sure got cocky telling me no one's going to murder anyone. I have my ways to make sure he's wrong. Anyway, that was fun to voice. I believe that's all for that question. And then we got Faye Nova's first question. This was asked, I remember, during the demonstration stream where I showed off the game, which was very fun. Faye Nova asks to Sylvia, Sylvia, you need a new idol. Because she was, like, talking all about how cool he was. No one tell him. And then Sylvia goes, no kidding. Who would have thought that Mew, let alone any Pokemon, would kidnap a bunch of Pokemon and force them to commit murder? You couldn't predict that if you tried. I'm trying to use my X-ray vision to find out what's behind that spoiler block. And then we have her continuing this. Can you blame me, though? I mean, it was a Mew, the most mythical Pokemon of all time. It's so rare and legendary, we didn't even know it was real. That's like finding out that unicorns are real. Not counting Rapidash, of course. How can you blame me for going so crazy? I'm switching to Jirachi. I remember someone commented on this, shout out to Game 2 where Jirachi is the new, is the new one. So yeah, that one's fun. So Sylvia obviously really liked Mew before she found out that Mew was, you know, a psychopath. So, all right, next one. This is another fantastic example of a question where I just gave my own response to it because I didn't know how to actually answer the question. Now, once again, this is something that I am going to repeat as often as I possibly can. Jirachi was the mastermind of my original killing game. That's fun. That's fun. Speaking of your killing game, allow me to read this question because I think it's very applicable to this question. My new one has no legendaries. Gotcha. All right. So, Plumpadoodle asks, to Forest. Not a question, but at 5 in the morning, I dreamed up of a totally original Pokenronpa character in my dreams. It had the same art style and biotype. I'm not sure what that means. Being an odd antagonistic green and red Pangoro, then I woke up. That was something interesting that happened to me this morning. I think Plumpadoodle just wanted to share that with me in a way that I couldn't respond. But of course, I decided to take the opportunity to respond anyway, and I said, since it's not a question, I'm just going to take this opportunity as a message for you all. If you've ever had an idea for a story, a world, a cast of characters, and you've always wondered what it would be like to see it in reality, my advice is to go for it. Take the excitement for creativity and try to put pen to paper. I'm not saying figure it all out in a day, I'm saying give it an hour, or even a half hour, or even 10 minutes. Write down your idea, start with an outline. What about it is interesting? How do you envision the story to go? All you need to do is open up a Word document and write it all down. And I still believe this message to this day. Y'all need to, anytime you get the slightest inspiration for, like, a story at all, my suggestion is to just write something about it down. Because it is significantly more fun to have these ideas to read back upon later. I forgot I had that random dream. This is basically just me going through these stories again. Basically this memory lane. And then a little bit more things because I predict what some people are about to say. I said, I get it. Motivation can be tough. ADHD can be a bitch. Writer's block happens. I know that all too well. I know from experience that the hardest part is just getting started. You doubt yourself from ever giving yourself the chance to bring your story to life. I genuinely thought this. Pokenronpa sat in limbo for 5+ years before I gave it a shot. I didn't think anyone would really care for the concept or like the cast. But I didn't let that stop me, because I believed in my idea. As weird as it was, it made me happy just to put pen to paper. And now I have all of you, fans who love the idea and are excited to see what's next. I was in your shoes once. I loved seeing so many talented people out there putting their artwork on display for the world to see. I wanted to inspire people the way that so many had inspired me before, and it's all so worth it because I gave it a try. I believe in you, all of you. I have heard so many incredible story ideas from you all in my comments. There's so much creativity flowing in through your heads. It's hard to get started, but just give it a try. You don't know where it's going to take you. So that's basically where my message is, right? It's going to be... what I basically mean here is that if you have some idea, something that you always wanted to do, Forrest, what Pokemon plural would you like being? I mean, look at who I literally am. I think it's very clear. And if not, just look at the cast of Pokenronpa and you have answers. That's really that simple. But yeah, so if you guys, a lot of you guys have said before that, like, I have this fun idea, but I lack motivation to do it. My answer is just give it 10 minutes. 10 genuinely honest minutes to just write down whatever you thought of. It doesn't need to be the full thing. It doesn't even need to be half a thing. Literally just write down what you said that was interesting. And yeah, so on and so forth. I said plural. I said the cast of Pokenronpa. Just look at it. Alright. So hopefully that inspires a few people to maybe take the extra step and just start writing something, you know? I really hope that people do more stuff. This is another example of a character who I had never heard of before and didn't know how to answer. Sure, I didn't have the idea of, like, someone to, like... obviously, I have the rule where they've obviously heard of anything I thought of. I have anxiety? I mean, again, if you're excited about the idea, analyze what it is that makes you so excited about the idea. Clearly, if you are so excited that you want to share it with other people, then start off by just simply writing it down. Danganronpa Another, yes. I've never played Danganronpa Another, so when Plumfadoodle asks to Rudy, Ayame Hantano, what do you think of her? Obviously, I don't know how to answer this. And obviously, like I said, I had that rule where if the cast hasn't heard of it, they actually do. But in this case, I literally don't know what to say. So I literally just wrote, who? Is this a nickname for someone? Do they need help? Do I have more to this? And then I gave my cop-out answer saying, I don't know how to answer this question since I haven't played Danganronpa Another, let alone anyone in the cast ever hearing about Danganronpa proper. So here's some fan art. And then I think I just shared Plumfadoodle's fan art. I think that's all I did. It's just I was just like, I feel bad that I can't answer this question properly, so here's some fan art. Alright. Once again, here's another example of have you heard of this thing? What do you think of this thing? And then me being like, well, it's more fun when I think of making the cast know everything that you ask them of. I think you guys can read all this. Plumfadoodle asks, I only have half a prologue written that's mostly, I forgot to introduce myself, I'm... Yeah, basically. Here's also my tip for this. Is there is a scene in particular that's, like, really exciting that's, like, midway through the story, start writing it. Just immediately start writing it. Or just write, like, the outline of it. Like, write, like, XXX... Like, right, like, this person says this, and then this thing happens. And then you can kind of work backwards from it, you know? Like, if that's, like, the climax of your story, the thing that you're most excited for, then start there, and then hope that way you don't feel like you're stuck going from start to finish. Anyway. Plumfadoodle asks, to Shifty, what do you think of Among Us? Obviously, because of my rule, the cast knows what Among Us is. I was writing my Pokenronpa before I got the idea to humanize my characters because I want to try the art style again. Yeah, basically. When you think about it, the cast is playing Among Us. Yeah, basically. So Shifty goes, dude, I got so into that, I turned it into an in-person group activity thing. Everyone participated, even Sensei. I remember I made Hina, Mozilla, and Sylvia into the imposters, and they crushed it. Sylvia found a way to take an obvious kill Hina made into a full clear for her somehow, and Hina went on to win the game. Talk about insane teamwork. Also, I did a round where Sensei was the only imposter, and he won. We're a much more devious group than I expected. I think I posted the art of the protagonist on Blue Sky. Ooh, I should check that out. I'd repost it if you want. Anyway, yeah, so that was very fun. I think there's some more comments. Yeah. Hina was like, yeah, that was stressful. Can we not do that again? And then Sensei goes, as though anyone would catch me killing. Then Rudy goes, yeah, Sensei's too good at this. Can we ban him from doing it again next time? That's basically what we did. Alright. We're almost at that point, I think, where everything's a square. We're getting very close. Alright, next we have, Faynova asks, to anyone have any favorite games? Hina would never. So the idea behind that game is that Hina is just totally stressed and doesn't really like doing it. So when she does a kill, she doesn't hide it at all, but Sylvia is just like, I got you, fam. I'm gonna hard clear you. And then Hina just kind of wins the game by being seemingly hard cleared. I had plans for the ultimate card game player to be a Chapter 2 killer, and Chapter 1 he's a suspect because the real killer left a card from a card game he hates on the scene of the crime. Yep! See, again, write this down! Write this down somewhere, and then just, like, kind of expand from there. Again, if you eventually have aspirations to make something bigger. But even if you don't, it's really fun to just have the idea just posted somewhere. And then you can look back on it and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, I have a bunch of notebooks where I've written down all of my story ideas recently, and I went through them, and I'm just like, man, it's so fun to catch up on that stuff. Anyway. To anyone have any favorite games? I forgot, I had a lot of fun with this one. Lauren says, I'm a fan of platforms. There's this one called Banjo and Kazooie where an Ursaring and a shiny Cramorant do a sort of collectathon-style adventure. Super relaxing, super fun. Oren was born in 1997. Sylvia sus due to that being deceptive? Maybe. Sylvia then says, I'm obsessed with puzzle games like Portal or Ace Attorney. Portal 2 especially is really funny. I love the writing in it. Shifty goes, you can't beat RPGs. I love those 8-bit HD ones that have been coming up recently, like the Octopath Traveler, or even a few action RPGs like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Ooh, and I've been playing Elden Ring so much that my paws are starting to ache. By the way, I've not played any of these ones. I've literally played none of the games Shifty has mentioned. I played the Xenoblade 1, and I really want to play Octopath Traveler. And I want to play Elden Ring. Of course, Hina wouldn't kill. She is perfect. And Alpha goes, well, consider I'm the gang's dungeon master. It's hard not to say Mystery Dungeons and Dragonites. Yes, Mystery Dungeons and Dragonites. Oh, man. I hope people ask me to do more questions about that. It's fun watching people go through a story I've made and experience their highs and lows. It's so thrilling. You all should try it out for yourself. I'm actually wearing a Dungeons and Dragonites shirt from MagFest, actually. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, we're getting to that point where we don't need to adjust the screen at all. It's pretty succinct. Plumpfadoodle asks to Bruce, how good are you at throwing knives? Bruce says, probably above average. A lot of my Pokemon moves involve launching sharp leaf-like blades, so I have to imagine throwing actual knives would be fairly comparable. But then he goes, I'm going to assume you asked this because of my blade-like appendages and not because of this killing game you was threatening us with. Because I'm not going to throw knives at anyone. What character would like Ghost Trick? Sylvia, rather. Sylvia would absolutely love Ghost Trick. She already likes Ace Attorney. Although, I mean, Shifty would love it too. Let's be honest. Shifty loves pretty much any game. I'm sure Alpha would like it. That needs to be an actual game now. What, Mystery Dungeons and Dragonites? Yeah, I would do it. Alright, next one. Plumpfadoodle asks to Sensei, how close is sink water to a waterfall? And I didn't know how to answer this question, so I just made Sensei go, this question wants me to take a serrated dagger and slit my own throat. What an idiotic question born from the depths of hell. And I felt so bad because that was so cruel. Oh wait, hold on, he keeps going. What do you expect from this question? Is there some insight to be gained, or are you simply trying to spur a reaction from me? If so, I refuse to answer. Go bother someone else with your questions. And I felt so bad by doing this because I was like worried that Plumpfadoodle would make me feel like I was just insulting them personally. So I had to add, Pokenronpa would like to clarify that the views and opinions of the cast do not reflect the creators' opinions. Any words said by the cast are their own opinions and not meant to be taken seriously. Like a Pokemon-style D&D board game. Yeah, no, I would absolutely do a D&D adventure called Mystery Dungeons and Dragonites. I would do that. I was gonna ask which character would like Zero Escape. Yeah, basically still the same characters, right? Shifty, Orin, Sylvia. Genetic fields. I don't know what that means. Angry Birds looks like a high frog. Does he? Damn. When I'm in a PMD roleplay group. Cool. Yeah. There you go. Anyway, Plumpfadoodle, I apologize if it seemed like I was attacking you. I just wanted Sensei to feel like he was attacking you, but he is not actually, you know what I mean. Hopefully you are not particularly offended by this. Can you guys hold on 1 second? Let me go quickly grab my water bottle. All right. Next up, Mew asks, what's your favorite kind of... Sorry, Plumfadoodle asks to Mew. The Glegger is one I don't see many OCs of. Shurikens are cool. Yeah, so Mew says, so Plumfadoodle asks to Mew, what's your favorite kind of generic weapon? Mew says, I want to see someone use a ninja star to kill someone. Can you imagine a blackened going, phew phew? That would be so cool. And then Mew goes, please, Sensei, please, 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 please. Sensei's just glaring. It was just a suggestion. Very easy, very simple, very straightforward. More Plumfadoodle. Plumfadoodle asks, Tahina, can depression beat you in a fight easily? And Tahina goes, I don't think so. I'm fully evolved, she's not. I'm a water type, she's part ground. If anything, I should beat her 10 times out of 10. And then depression goes, oof, now I feel weak. He goes, no, I didn't mean to make you feel weak. I'm sure with proper training you could win a battle. Aw, you really think so? That's so sweet! My next D&D adventure character is an Anthroluxray. Hell yeah, I love to hear that. Here is Chiharu Urano. Nice. Love that. Alright. And then I remember this was at the very end of the stream where I live streamed everything, where I was going through the game. And I was having people like submit any last minute questions they wanted for right before I ended stream. And so Faynova, I was also closing the free public Q&A, and then Faynova was just trying to put anything down as fast as possible, and so I think they panicked and wrote this. I think Mew is foreshadowing Sensei being a killer. Hina would never. I love the Hina would never prompts. So Faynova goes, I don't know, Mew is not cool, smiley face. And then Mew is just crying. And then we have Lecture being, couldn't have said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself. More like pretty fucking awful. Can't say I disagree. And then Mew just keeps crying. By the way, we have officially hit the square formula. So now everything is going to be a square and nothing will be out of frame. Never mind. I thought something. I was very, very wrong. All right, 1 second. Plumfadoodle asks, to Ember, how does it feel having giant swords for hands? Ember goes, preferable to the height I used to be at. This is the form I've always meant to take, so I've been looking forward to this for ages. I live to be a fighter, so I'd rather my body be fit for that purpose as much as possible. Any advantage is a good one. Of course, she then later says, I do wish I could pick up my meals easier, though. It's a good thing for the cafeteria seems to have fireproof trays for me to slide one of my arms into, complete with a strap to secure it to my arm. Ninjaharu has already had every other member commit a war crime, damn. Mew acting like they ain't a murderer. Basically. Next up we have Plumfadoodle asks to Depression, how does being so short feel? And she goes, not great. I wish I could reach places other people could. Before then responding, but it's okay. I'm just happy to be here with all these amazing people. They're even offered to help me reach things that I can't. So generous. She's just so endlessly positive. It's beautiful. And once again, we got more. I can't believe I did this. It's annoying. Counterpoint. Amarouge has both hands and a giant blaster. Yeah, but I think Ember has always been more of a sword person. You know, a sword Pokemon, that kind of thing. Plumfadoodle asks, to Orin, how does it feel to drink unlimited water from that water fountain every time you press space next to it? Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to answer the press space next to it because Plumfadoodle was very clearly trying to gauge, like, some kind of silly reaction from Orin. So I tried my best. Orin says, it's nice and convenient to have a consistent source of clean water. That's something I didn't really have in my old life, I think. Again, my memories are kind of lacking. But then, then he kind of goes a little bit confused. Then he starts being like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, I'm not sure what you mean by press space to next to it. Are you talking about pressing the button to make the water flow? Also, I seriously doubt that the water is infinite. My knowledge of water fountains isn't big, mind you, but there has to be a source. I'm sure that source can run dry, right? Hydrate yourself now. Yes. Will do. Will do, Tofu. Hold on. Thank you for reminding me. Again, I still forgot to actually do this. Plumfadoodle asks, to Mozilla, what kind of clothes do you and Sylvie like? And then Mozilla goes, oh my gosh, Sylvie makes the absolute cutest ribbons. I wear them all the time on my head. Makes me feel a bit like a Sylvia on myself sometimes. And then Sylvia then oops. I forgot, yeah. Sylvia is a bit of a sewer or ribbon maker in her spare time. She then goes, yeah, but you make all those cute flower berets that fit so nicely between my ears. I feel like a princess wearing them. Very cute. Girls. The girls. Let me do this. This is giving that Amazing World of Gumball scene. Wait, if he was the fountain, I must have been drinking his... Oh no! Whoa, 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 whoa! Women. Yes, women. Plumfadoodle asks, do you all like your rooms? And this is out of universe, so this is not in the context of the Killing Game. I appreciate having my house be so close to the library, as well as the patch of grass nearby that I can use to lie down on. The one I can read in nearly any ideal environment. A quiet library, in the outdoors while sunbathing, and before bed. It's very convenient. Mozilla then goes, I enjoy the opportunity to decorate. It's a bit of a side hobby of mine, but I like customizing my space with cute decorations and flowers, all the works. It makes inviting people over to my house a must. Oh. You know what? I now need to redesign her house. I honestly didn't remember that. And then Nash, who I feel like we haven't seen anything of so far until now. He goes, dude, it's soundproof! I can rock all day and no one complains about the noise! Even better, I get to share my music with the group and it's completely new to them. It's perfect! And then Rudonia goes, how can I complain when I have my own little running track behind my house? Then again, my actual room is a mess. So, I've officially noticed that we are in the square territory. Hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully I don't need to adjust this ever again. Is the... Just double checking to make sure that everything is still... Yeah, I think we're still good. Alright. Plumfadoodle asks, will you cry if someone calls you cringe? In universe. I don't know... Plumfadoodle, I don't know why... where this came from of all places. Alpha just goes, well, that's uncalled for. I have feelings too, you know. I don't know what I've done that could be considered cringe. I'm just trying my best to bring everyone together. If that's cringe, then fine. I'm cringe. I have genuinely no idea why you asked that. Plumfadoodle then asks, although you spelled your own name wrong, Plumfadoodle, I'm pretty sure I copied and pasted it. Unless that was my bad. Either way. Plumfadoodle asks, to Karalti, what is the rankings of the other girls in terms of attractiveness? Yeah. So, this is one where I was like, do I actually want to post this? Because, like, do I want to, like, make my characters, like, sexually objectify each other? And I was like, you know, I think it's fine. We're okay, right? Karalti says, it's time to make my lucky bachelorette. Can't say I haven't thought about this myself. Again, this is in-universe, so the context of the killing game. Cruelty then goes, depression takes last. She's so small and frail, almost like she's a child. That's just disgusting. Hina too has had so many crying tantrums that I can't help but scoff. Hard pass. Selkie's fine, but she's so smug about her stupid brain that I just want to barf. Lesbian. She was stole from a prisoner. It's complicated. And the third one killed an innocent because they, quote, looked at him funny. Interesting. Because Alpha is the equivalent of white bread compared to everyone else. Yeah, basically. That's fair. Then Karalty goes, the rest are all passable. Sylvia's a bit too cotton candy for me, but I can't deny that those ribbons would feel incredible on my muscles. Then you had Mozilla and Ember. Both have literally smoking hot bodies. Mozilla would be nice and soft, while Ember would be cold and tough. Both good for separate reasons. But let's be real, there's no question that Naga's the obvious choice. Have you seen that bod? Tough, scaly, and those massive muscles? Clearly makes her the second most attractive one in this place. But you say second, you say. Wait, what? Hold on, what? Where did I get her giving herself a boost? Is that gone? I think that's gone. Damn, hold on, wait, I might have that somewhere. Hold on one second. I'ma say it, Hina would never. Ma'am. Ma'am holy. She is extremely problematic, let's be honest here. Hold on. Pokenronpa, hashtag PRFT, hashtag Charizard. I think I have this somewhere on my, I definitely have this somewhere on my list, I think. Yeah, here it is. Let me just quickly show you guys this image directly. Here's the finale to this one. What, you thought I wouldn't put myself at the top? I mean, come on! Who's even in the same stratosphere? I'll take that gold medal any day. You should pay me for even being in your same vicinity. It's smack dab in the middle of this slideshow, trust. Yeah, it's just gonna pop up again at some random point. Alright. Anyway, on to the next one. I think I might not have posted that one to YouTube, because I was like, that one might be stretching things a little too stuff. Off topic, how the hell does Komatsuzaki draw lines on clothing? I have no idea. I don't even know who that is. Karalty getting banned on every social media. Alright, Plumfadoodle asks, to Nash, what is your opinion of scratching nails on a chalkboard? Out of universe, of course, so no killing game involved. Somehow she gets banned on LinkedIn. Nash goes, wait a second! If I could turn that sound into something good sounding? Think about it! The world's most obnoxious sound ever somehow turned into music that people want to hear more of! If I could accomplish that, I'd be the coolest Toxtricity to ever live! Oh, Komatsuzaki is the artist behind all of the Danganronpa games. Oh, interesting. I am dying. Alright, next one. Plumfadoodle asks, to Orin, how many sides does an octagon have in universe? And I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I forget what I said here. I was just like, well, Orin doesn't know what to say. Orin says 8, right? I'm not exactly the most skilled at math. Math, though. My memories don't go back that far. But then again, it's like Selkie said. I shouldn't know this regardless. That's it. That's all we have here. He's just you tried to get him into a trap, and he just doesn't. He just doesn't really know what to say. Plumfadoodle asks to Orin, how does it feel being piss yellow in color? I really do not want to have to read this one. I might not have even posted this one on YouTube. Couldn't you have used something less vulgar? I'm already self-conscious about being shiny as it is. But since you asked, being yellow is interesting but stressful. I stand out more, which just makes me feel constantly at unease. Nash, it ain't happening. He's gonna try, okay? He's got this, I'm sure. I'm sure he's got this. Plumfadoodle asks, to Sensei, crazy frog? I'm not gonna explain the context of this one. And then Sensei goes, perhaps you should consider looking in the mirror before you call someone crazy. Ding 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 bam bam bam. Plumfadoodle asks to Sylvia, do you do video games with your paws or ribbons? And this is out of universe, taking the killing game out of it. Sylvia goes, both. Usually I use my ribbons, but sometimes to get an edge, I bring my forepaws into it as well. It pisses off some of the more competitive people around here off, which, you know what? Bonus. Sensei's killed by Orin. Funny. Shifty then go. Oh my god, I forgot about this. Shifty then go. Plumfadoodle then asks Shifty, what's your favorite anime? And he goes, you want me to pick one? How can I possibly narrow it down? They're all so fantastic. That's like choosing a favorite child. Not that I have one. Of course, out of universe. He's seen anime. Well, let's see. You've got your classics, Attack on Totem, Megastone Z, Naruto and Pikachu, My Poke Academia. I forgot about how many of these I gave, like, funny names to. There's One Piece, which I know is really long, but I can't express enough how much you need to see it anyways because it's incredible. Now, I will say, have not seen any of these animes. Have not seen any of these animes. What was Naruto and Pikachu? Naruto and Pikachu. What was I know that was referencing something, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it was just Naruto, but like with the addition of Pikachu as well. Some of my friends disappeared. I'm sorry to hear that. Recently, I've been getting into this new anime called Delicious and Mystery Dungeon, which is mostly incredible because it's a wacky premise that gets way more intense than it has any right to be. I've begged Mozilla to make several of the dishes inside, and it reminds me of some of our Mystery Dungeons and Dragonite sessions we play together sometimes. I've also been watching brand new Pokemon recently. Kind of a wild premise. A trainer turns into a Zigzagoon and learns all about what it's like to be a Pokemon. Can you imagine that? A human living in the world of only Pokemon? Crazy! When you said out of universe, I thought, wait, he has a child? No. I fucking knew it. Also, Attack on Titan. I'm at episode 900 of One Piece, 255 episodes left. I will say, I have watched Delicious in Dungeon. That's the only one I've watched. Also, I really like how Shifty was like, can you imagine what it's like to be a human in a Pokemon world? Oh, wait, I forgot this. Shifty goes, really, you should just watch whatever shows you like. I bet there's a million shows out there that fit your style. I genuinely can't pick a favorite. I'm in the middle of like 10 different shows at once. Can you tell he likes anime? I like answering questions with him. Why did you choose Zigzagoon? I believe Zigzagoon is a raccoon, right? Isn't that who the brand new animal main character is? I've never watched it. Delicious and Mystery Dungeon. Brand new animals was pretty good. Yeah, I've not seen it, but I want to see it. Brand new Pokemon. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, right? Yeah, brand new Pokemon. Brand new animal in 2026. I wrote that in 2025, mind you, but yes. Holy shit, I love that anime. That's what I have to get into. I haven't actually watched it, but I would love to see that. But doesn't she turn into a raccoon or something like that? So I wanted to choose like a raccoon-like thing. Anyway. Plumfadoodle asks to Orin, based on the introductions, how would you rank how much you like everyone? In universe, of course. I was not expecting B&A to jump scare me. I think I just came up with the pun on it, and I just couldn't not go. I had to do it. That was me basically just coming up with as many Pokemon puns on anime names as I possibly could. So Orin goes, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not a judgmental guy. I want all of us to survive. It's not about liking them or not. But I guess I can't deny that Sensei was especially rude to me on our first meeting. Ember was too. Cruelty just comes across as a bit predatory. Lecture's just creepy. So I guess it's an 11-way tie for everyone else for being polite or otherwise inoffensive people. They're all good people, no one above the others. Poor Orin! She's technically a Tanuki. I feel like he's the Zigzagoon's the closest Tanuki Pokemon we have anyway, so... You know. If there's another one, oops. Maybe a bit more so for Mozilla, since she was so patient and honest with when she answered my many questions when I first awoke. Same for Alpha for being the one to organize this all in the first place. They've definitely earned a bit of my respect. Zigzagoon is based on a Tanuki. Yep, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, this is a question I think a lot of people are excited about. I'm pretty sure I've shown this image off a couple times, but y'all will probably like what I have for this. And I will say a couple of these probably have changed as I got on. So this was released in June. I remember this specifically was released at the very start of June. There's a character in BNA based on Primarina and Brionne. Interesting. Didn't know that. Finally here. You still haven't gotten to any of your questions, Seijin, so you're still good in that regard. Anyways, Plumfadoodle asks, to Florist, what's everyone's official sexuality? And I say, Happy Pride Month! Before I answer this last question from the public Q&A forum, I wanted to take a moment to shout out all of the incredible Pokenronpa fans that are part of the LGBTQ+ community. Yay! Chat, this is all for you as well. You all are incredible people that deserve all the love and appreciation you can get. I don't care what the leaders of my country say. Yes, I do live in the States. You should be allowed to love who you want, regardless of how they identify themselves. Kindness is very easy practice, and I want to make it very clear that you all have a home with me in my community. This is very true, chat. If you guys are at all part of the LGBTQ+ spectrum, I want you to know you have a place in my community, alright? You're respected, you're loved, you're appreciated, I love you all. Absolutely no, you deserve all of the appreciation, just in general. Because Lord knows, sometimes you just don't get enough of it. This is also where it gets a little tricky. In regards to the anime question, Chiharu, you think it's fun, but it wasn't when you were with him. I don't know what to say. Now, in regards to Pokenronpa, it's clear that I intend to include some LGBTQ+ themes in the story. Karalty is openly gay, and several of the characters have made references to Oren's preferences, even if it hasn't been confirmed. I talked on stream how I might reveal their sexuality someday, but I hesitated on whether I'd actually do it. The first reason is because they could change, which I already feel like that's the case. As I write, I might have a different idea of what the character might be like when I originally intended. Not to mention that, in-universe, these characters have little to no memories of their past lives. In a way, they're figuring out their own sexuality as the story goes. So declaring an official sexuality for them feels a bit inaccurate, right? So basically, you know, it's hard for me to, like, give them all defined sexualities when they could all, like, you know, when they're still trying to figure out how to live, essentially, right? So I don't want to necessarily give them all confirmed sexualities, necessarily. The other reason is that, to be honest, my understanding of the sexuality spectrum is fairly limited. I am IRL hetero, so trying to write and properly represent a sexuality could get muddy. I'm still trying to learn the proper labels, which I know is kind of ironic since being part of the community is the idea of shaking any labels, so please let me know if I'm misrepresenting something, yes. So basically, part of this whole thing is that I am a cis hetero man, and I am trying my best to include as many representations of, you know, LGBTQ+ representation in my game as possible, but also I want to do it right, and I don't want to make people act. I don't want to make it too, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm calling someone something and then it's not misunderstanding what that sexuality means, right? I'm still doing my best as someone who is not LGBTQ+, but is an ally and is trying to show you guys, you know, all that stuff. So, with all that being said, here is my best representation of what the sexualities are for the cast of Pokenronpa probably are. And I think no, I didn't. Okay. So this is basically a little bit of a little chart showing what I believe most of their sexualities probably are, in something in that line. And I could be misrepresenting it for the most part, but nonetheless. So Karalty, of course, our resident lesbian, she's extremely gay, she's very loud and proud about it. Selkie is pan-ace. She's not really into, you know, any of the she's not really super into, steaminess, but she is very much like, you know, if you're a person, she can love you, you know. Lecture's into men. Lecture's very into men. Naga is into men or women. She likes them both very much equally. Depression's just like, if you exist, I can love you. Very simple. Bruce, at the time I said straight, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards bi or pan. So we'll see if that's probably actually what is more accurate. He's probably a little bit more bi or pan from that. Hina is bi-curious. Not totally sure, but she's bi-curious. We have Oren being bi-ace, and that's actually going to be pretty common. And so Oren is officially bi. He likes boys or girls equally. But he's also ace about it, so he's not super that hard into it. Then we have Shifty being bi-curious. Mozilla is straight. She is probably the straightest character on the cast. Maybe next to Rudy. There's definitely if there's a spectrum, Mozilla is almost as straight as it gets. Sylvia's queer, you know. She's mostly into men, but she could see if the right woman comes along. The lecturer is into men. Yes, he is into men. Sensei is arrow ace. Does not give two shits about romance whatsoever. Alpha is straight, relatively so. Nash is pan. As long as you exist, you can be loved. Amber is a lot like Sensei. Romance just doesn't matter to her. And then Rudy is also straight. Probably up there with Mozilla as one of the straightest characters on the cast. I'd say of these, the only ones that I would potentially change are Bruce being a little bit more bi-leaning, and maybe Sylvia being a little bit more lesbian. But she would be bi, I guess. Oh, that sometimes chatters just appear only in stream video chat, not here in the real chat. There's a video chat? I don't know what that means. Anyway. Alright. SGreek79 asks, Tahina, when you're down or you feel sad or angry, what activity or method helps you to calm down? Out of universe? And then Hina goes, it's not easy, I'll tell you that. I've had a bad habit of letting my negative emotions overwhelm me, and I break down crying for a while. I know I should be better at it than I am, but I can only do so much. It's really hard, but one thing I found that helps is to seek someone out who I can talk through my emotions with. I'm very lucky to have friends like Oren, Bruce, Mozilla, Sylvia, Naga, and Depression to talk about this stuff. They're all really respectful and don't judge me for my weird and overly dramatic thoughts. They just listen and offer kind advice that isn't meant to dissuade me or my emotions. It's hard to open up like that. You really have to find someone who you trust isn't going to feel burdened by your inner demons. I had to learn to trust that they genuinely want to help and aren't annoyed with my rambles. That might have been the hardest part, honestly. Might not have the chat set on top messages and not all messages. I mean, oh, that's actually true. You know what? That's actually a good point. But also, I tend to avoid most of this. Yeah, you know what? That's totally what it is. I'm in the chat above you on the stream. Yep, you're right, you're right. I see what you mean, I see what you mean. I think I've missed a couple of messages that way. Anyway. Sometimes though, I'm alone and there's no one around to help me. And that's where it gets really hard to contain myself. The best I managed to do is first recognize when I'm having a big emotional flare. Just recognizing that is a big step to helping me look outside my emotions and contain myself. Then I usually just let the emotion overwhelm me for a bit and cry, knowing that it's a normal thing to do and that I'll come out the other side with a clearer head. Basically, don't fight it. Shut out the intrusive thoughts, but don't let the emotions build either. I'm allowed to feel frustrated or sad, and I just take that moment to let the emotions do their thing, and when it's done, I clear my head and move on. Yes, sir, Hina, we love you and can't do anything. You can't do anything wrong. The last thing is, and this is probably super weird, but I start to go swimming. I don't know what it is, but swimming in water does something to me that just calms me down. I've never felt more at home than in the water. Having the familiar sensation of water all over me as I explore the depths of a river or pond relaxes me in a way that no conversation or cry session ever could. I know it's not a solution that would work for most people, and I have the benefit of being afloat still to help me, but it just works for me. So yeah, this is kind of me giving a little bit of therapy session to my viewers by doing this, because Hina's just kind of pouring out her real emotions here. Then we have Siejin. I think this is the very first Siejin question. To Nash, how did you get stuck out of that cobweb you walked into and got stuck on in universe? Oh my god. I had to play into this one, because what else am I going to do? Make it not be referenced at the questions asked? Nash goes, you think something as frail as cobweb can stop someone like me? I'm Nash! My determination is rocket will never be held by some silly little spiderweb. I'm unstoppable! And so Karate goes, unless a ground type comes along. Professor goes, huh? Did I hurt Nash or something? I'm so sorry if I did. I think I have a favorite character chat. And then I say, shoutouts to the 5% of people who see this post and understand the question, because it's so niche that it's not referenced in the prologue nor the first chapter whenever it releases. For clarity, this joke comes from a coding error during a Pokenronpa stream I was working on chapter 1 where Nash got stuck in the collision of a spider web. Yep. Y'all, those who remember that. Those who know. Those who know, who know, you know? Siegen asks, to anyone, if this was Survivor / Big Brother instead of a death game, who are you eliminating first in universe? Oh boy, this is where I get to talk all about my goddamn love of game shows. Carlty goes, good Arceus, is this finally my opportunity to get Sensei out of here without killing? Because he pisses me off so much for no good reason. I'm pretty sure I may answer this question out of universe style. Yeah, I definitely answered this out of universe style, because there's no way this is actually in universe. Nash does Iron Deluge. now he's floating. Shifty. If it's Big Brother, it depends on who the HOH is. Say it's me, which it totally could be. I try not to rock the boat too early and target someone without getting blood on my paws. Someone like a Sensei or Ember would be good, because no one would be against them leaving. If someone else was the first HOH, I'd start focused on making sure I'm not their target. Maybe if I get enough control, I'd start subtly suggesting a backdoor to a strategic threat like Selkie. For Survivor, I'd actually try to reverse it. I don't think Sensei or Ember would really be super strategic, and they'd be incredible meat shields. If our side doesn't have the numbers, they'd take the target over me any day. Instead, I target someone who wouldn't help the tribe out in challenges. Someone like Depression or Hina. This is me just talking about how much I absolutely love this. By the way, who's excited for Survivor 50? I know I am. I'm stoked for it. And then Selkie goes, looking at the winners of the more recent seasons, Survivor seems dominated by the geeky and social threats who work behind the scenes. Getting those threats out early is a likely way to advance myself further. I'd say the Pokemon that match that best are the likes of Mozilla and Sylvia. I have a hard time seeing either of them targeted any time early. Big Brother seems impossible for someone like me. The challenges in recent times have leaned heavily into physical ability, meaning that all the challenge threats need to stick together and there's nothing I can do. Sure, they need a bit of social game as well, so someone like Orin or Naga seem impossible beats there. I'd have no choice but to attempt to target them. Big Brother is canon to Pokenronpa. Again, no it is not. Again, these are non-canonical, and also this is definitely out of universe. But feel free. As a reminder, and I'm going to emphasize this enough, if you ask a character a question about what do you think about X, they are going to have heard of it for the sake of answering the question in a fun, interesting way. Shifty is a fucking nerd, and I love it. Shifty knows anything. He has an opinion on pretty much everything. Depression. I don't want to target anyone. I love everyone and want us all to be friends. Also, who would be my big brother in this case? Shifty, do not touch Hina or I'll throw a Master Ball at you. Yeah, this is one of my favorite answers I've given in anything. Because it's genuinely, like, Shifty is kind of me if I were to go on these shows. I would absolutely do it, by the way. I'd want to play these shows if I wasn't, like, bad at, like, the survival aspects of both of them. Siegen asks to Bruce, silly blue man. Thanks, I think. I love these questions. I love them. Alright, and now we're basically at the Siegen asks everything. Siegen asks, to Orange, Selkie, Lecture, and Bruce, if not for the murder aspect, would you enjoy solving the mysteries? Orin responds, I suppose, but I'm not really familiar with mystery stores or anything like that to know for sure. I doubt I'd be good at it, but it would be fun to try. You're back, you're also bleeding. Sure, why not? I enjoy a good mystery, and I have no doubt that removing the threats of murder would enhance the enjoyment quite a bit. Selkie goes, the issue with this premise is that without the murder aspect, there'd be nothing to solve. Is the idea that we'd play pretend? If so, how exactly would a murder be performed? What would be the scene of the crime if there was no struggle? Would the victim be involved in the planning of the murder? What would be the point of planting evidence if the goal is to avoid detection? Furthermore, what's the motivation to become a culprit? Are the roles predetermined? If so, I can't imagine any logic behind the mystery as there's no motive. As a detective, I might as well choose a suspect at random. She thinks way too hard about this. She cannot think extremely logical. Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down. I wonder if Mozilla and Shifty have ever had the feeling to go feral and stable on all four? I don't know what that means. It's because of a rash, damn. And then Lecture, of course, finishes this off with, you might as well just hand me the victory now. No one would ever outsmart me in a murder mystery game. I guess you were a little rash. Ayo. Selkie take to the questions is just Forrest talking to me. I mean, that's kind of it. That's kind of true. But, like, no. Selkie just thinks way too hard about this. Selkie is, like, my inner, like, if I thought too hard about this question. And stay on all four. Gotcha. No one would ever outsmart me. Lecture is the first victim. Siegen asks, to Karalty and Nash, which one of you two would become the champion of Truth or Dare? Oh boy, this is where we get into this saga. I already know where this is going. It's at this point that Siegen has figured out how to work the system and forced me to become their puppet. Me, obviously. Give me a dare, any dare, and I do it without hesitation. It's not like I'm known for holding back truths either. Yeah, I'd say it's hard to defeat someone as confident as you, Karalty. But I warn you, I'm not a slouch in these competitions myself. I don't give up easily, and I can handle any challenge thrown my way easily. Alright, bet. I dare you to survive a ground-type attack. Like, literally any single one. Hey, you're on. Hey, depression! Zoroark and Muzzle on all fours is disturbing. Yeah, it is very true. This is extremely true. Siegen and Karalty and Nash ask. I forgot. I dare Karalty to kiss a man. Oh god. I mean, listen, she would do it. She would do it for the dare. To Depression, can you use a ground attack on Nash? It's for the greater good. Depression goes, what? Why would I ever do that? I don't want to attack anyone, especially with this whole killing thing going on. Nash is my friend. I think I only said that extra part because I wanted to remind everyone that this is in-universe. Lore? This is basically what the lore is. Would Karalty kiss Sensei or lecture? Oh, depends on what's in it for her. It depends on what's in it for her. I think she would do it if she was dared to, probably. But she wouldn't like it. What would be your strategy for the Amazing Race? There isn't really a strategy for the Amazing Race. It is simply to choose a partner that is, like, good at, like, different enough from you and good at navigating. I mean, obviously, practice stick shift driving, practice, practice stick shift driving, practice, self-driving is basically the main thing. Depression used mud sport. basically. Strategy should be being amazing. Yeah, you're supposed to be good at the Amazing Race. Forbidden action motive for Karalty. You can't simp. Oh god, she would die so fast. Come on, Depression. You need to do this for a dare. I gotta show how strong I am. Do it. Hit him with your hardest earthquake. No mercy. Alright, if that's what you really want, I'm really sorry if I hurt you. Dig! And then, I forgot I did, so the reason I did this was pow! The reason I did this was because I, didn't actually have a, I didn't have a better way to do, like, the death pose. I would have made him do the Family Guy death pose at this point, but I don't have any artistic skills, so I didn't want to do that. What about sabotage? I wish the demo trial was Depression killing Nash. Emergency meeting. You know, I was genuinely joking. I wasn't actually expecting Depression of all Pokemon to knock you out. You must be way weaker than I thought. Yellow is sus. Yes. I love the Truth or Dare thing was pretty fun. And now it continues. It just keeps going. Siegen asks, to Orin and Alpha, can you help Nash? You could say he's lost some ground, and maybe try to beat Karalty in Truth or Dare. And Alpha goes, wait, what the hell's going on? Or Orin goes, wait, what the hell's going on over here? Are you guys already fighting? Alpha goes, guys, we're not supposed to be fighting each other, remember? We're here to stay alive, not turn on each other. What in the world are you doing? And that show I told similar to Amazing Race, they can only stop cars and get picked to the place. I do not know what you mean. I made glass bones and paper. I'm made of glass bones and paper skins. Yeah, basically. Hey, don't look at me. Depression was the one who attacked him. Sorry, they really wanted me to hit Nash with a dig, even though I didn't want to. I'm so sorry. I don't know if he'll ever forgive me. He's just gonna be mad because he lost Truth or Dare. Seriously? We're losing our minds already over Truth or Dare? What are we, children? I don't know. I don't really want to condone fighting this early, but I also don't exactly want to police people having fun, you know? We'd just lose our minds if all we did was get tortured by the thought of Mew's game. Maybe just tone it down a little? Ugh, who do you think you are, my parents? I don't have to listen to you. I can do what I fucking want. Yeah, Oren, you may have a point. Sorry, I didn't mean to police things so heavily. But yeah, we should probably get Nash to the infirmary. And then it continues! Keralte canonically has parents? I mean, you would assume. One would assume. Siegen asks, to Alpha, do you guys have potions and forest stores and stuff in there, or is it more first aid? Or is it nothing? Yeah, there are potions and revives and stuff in the infirmary. Kind of counterintuitive to the whole killing game thing Mew's trying to make us do, right? Especially with that whole blank spoilers thing going on. It just feels like the environment we're in completely counteracts the game you put us in. What were they thinking? And that's really it. I actually think I talked about showed this off in the in some of the streams, which by the way are daily no longer going live. Don't blame depression. Depression would never. Siegen asks, to anyone who wants to see Pancake Nash before Alpha and Oren finish. What happened to him? Lecture, you better not do what I think you're about to. He needs to recover, not have his personal thoughts invaded. I don't do that without permission. That was pretty funny. I'm proud of some of these responses. To Hina, Sensei, and Rudania, who would win a triathlon in-universe? Once again, because this is in-universe, the characters don't actually know what a triathlon is, but I had fun with this. So according to this book from the library, there's a competition held in Sinnoh called a triathlon where a trainer rides Pokemon 1 to a checkpoint, then surfs across Pokemon 2 to a second checkpoint before the trainer finishes to race the line on their own. I don't know. I'm not really a competition kind of swimmer, so Sensei probably crushes me. But Rudy's made for the Pokemon riding part of the competition, so he probably has the lead. Hell yeah! You know what? We'd probably crush it if we teamed up. You carry leg 1, I carry you leg 1, you carry leg 2, and we'd be unstoppable! I wouldn't carry anyone on my back, even if my life depended on it. I explain you a Romanian TV show similar to The Amazing Race. They can only hitchhike there, not driving. Ah! Oh, interesting. How do they not know what a triathlon is? Did they lose that many memories? They were wild before this. Don't forget, they were in the wild before this. They did not really know... They don't really know too much about human stuff. You know? Hina question. Yep, this is in fact a Hina question. Lecture, you're weird. Yeah, lecture in general is very, very weird. Alternatively here, it says there's something called a Pokeathlon in Johto, where 4 Pokemon team up to complete a series of challenges based on a specific type of skill set. These include jump, speed, power, stamina, and skill. That's vague. See? Now we can team up! Yeah, with this team, we'd easily crush any opponent. Well, unless skill means swimming, I'd be pretty bad at each competition, so, not me. You had me until team. I'd win and I'd do it all by myself. Also, I don't care and stop asking me questions. I keep forgetting that Sensei does that every single time. I feel like Pokemon triathlons would exist. Oh, they absolutely do. Like I said, I am literally showing off how that makes sense in this universe. It's just that they don't actually know, they don't know anything else. Hina would sweep everyone. She doesn't think so, but she probably would. She'd do very well at swimming. To anyone, since Sensei is Sensei and Nash, Orin, and Alpha are busy, how would the remaining 12 of you divide up into 3 teams of 4? Wait, what's going on? Are we investigating? So this is again, I think this is in-universe again. I don't know, I forgot to mark this as in-universe, it looks like. But this is in-universe again, and this is continuing the whole Truth or Dare storyline that's going on. Just skill. Wait, what's going on? Are we investigating somewhere or something? Also, you don't look busy to me, Orin. I think they're asking because we just got back from dropping Nash off at the infirmary. And before anyone asks, he's fine. He just got a bit reckless. I'm still really sorry. Well, in any case, I guess we could team up to investigate some more. We won't get out of this mess by just sitting around after all. Absolutely not. I've been forced to piggyback off so many of you idiots that you just slow me down. Let me investigate my own. Ugh, just let me sleep. No more investigating. And then I think Sensei has a skill issue. That's a good pun. I was gonna work on making some dinner. You guys want to investigate more? Feel free. I'm probably more of a help in the kitchen. Ooh, count me in. I could use a bite to eat. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit this one out too. Sorry. Oh, that could have been better. Sorry, I really tried. basically, it was just like, I don't know how to answer these questions because, like, these people dividing themselves into groups of 3 didn't necessarily work. But then I was just like, well, if I go, like, what if I made it in the context of, like, everybody gathering together and doing some group investigation thing Alpha tries to organize, and then everyone just be like, I'm just not feeling it, man. Seijin asks, to Emperor and Sensei, what's your strategy for being alone in there? Oh, also, this is cut off. You guys cannot see this. Hold on 1 second. Seijin asks, to Emperor and Sensei, what's your strategy for being alone in there? Strategy? Why should I need a strategy? No matter what the floating psychopath says, this isn't a fucking game. I'm my own person with my own goals, and I'm not going to buddy up to the others here just because. No one would actually be dumb enough to participate, so there's no reason to care about forming bonds. My friends and family are back home. I don't care if I'm a Pokemon who will one day leave my family behind to grow under a trainer. Being kidnapped by a Mew is not the same thing. I've been robbed of my family, and I intend to return to them. They are my only loyalty. Hinama, you must consume. Well, to start with, I won't be answering stupid and pointless questions. You can tell every time Sensei gets asked a question, his only response is to say, no. I refuse to answer. It's the same thing every single time. Seijin asks, to Karalti, technically you can't win if you haven't completed one yet. Truth or dare? Karalti goes, you think I'd lose at anything? Well, how about this for a twist? Both! Truth and dare at the same time! I took that challenge. So Seijin then follows up with that by saying, to Mew, Karalti, and Bruce. Mew, can you give Karalti a truth question? I dare Karalti to use a damaging fire attack on Bruce. Mew goes, ooh, Karalti! If I dared you to kill Bruce instead of just attack him, would you do it? I mean, it's for a dare, isn't it? Don't you win every game of truth or dare? So would you do it? Would you? Would you? And Karalti goes, what the? That's cheating! You can't just bring a third party into this. Mew's not playing, so I don't have to listen to what they say. But to answer the question, no. Sounds like you're forfeiting. That or admitting you lose truth or dare if the challenge was too tough. Wow, a challenge too tough for Karalti. That must really grind your gears, huh? Oh my god, Mew knows exactly what to do to get under Karalti's skin. And Karalti goes, you motherfucker! And then Bruce goes, ugh, why am I the target here? Sensei has +6 evasion of questions, basically. So now, the reason why I did it like this is because I didn't want to make a Bruce doing thing. Karalti, you bitch. You're such a bitch. Seijin asks, to Alpha, can you check up on Bruce for me? What in the... Karalti, what did you do this time? Ooh, someone's in trouble. Quick, kill him before he can yell at you. Shut the fuck up. This is your fault, you know. You pissed me off so much I had to release my anger somehow. And that was supposed... I suppose that meant that I was the target? I understand not wanting to target Mew considering the circumstances, but attacking me for a dare is just rude. Not just for you, but for whoever suggested it. Yeah, hear that, Seijin? You're the bad guy. Mew is such a psychopath. You hear that, Seijin? You're the bad guy. Ugh, whatever. At least I understand why you're so aggravated. At least don't do it again. You just gotta take advantage of your anger real fast if you let them get to you easily. And stop attacking people for dares. Ugh, whatever. I'm sick of people shitting on me today. I'm gonna go somewhere I'm appreciated. And for what it's worth, Bruce, I have nothing against you. So, sorry I torched your ass or whatever. Apology accepted. I'm not the bad guy if Bruce is the mastermind. Forrest, what? Okay, I'm not answering that. Seijin asks, to Bruce. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Seijin, you then apologize to Bruce. I'm sorry, Brucey. You were the first weak higher type I could think of. What are your thoughts on Alpha and all the effort he puts in? I appreciate the apology. We're also stressed as it is, so having us fight each other like this isn't productive to our cause to unite. I hope this is the last of it. None of us have to be unnecessarily hurt. Bruce just scolding you. Yeah, he's just like... It's because of times like this where having an Alpha around is incredible. He put his blood, sweat, and tears into making sure that we all get along and focus on the task at hand. I admire him for that. takes real courage to step up in times of uncertainty and high tension. He's done a fantastic job so far, and I hope I can support him however I can. Bruce got so mad he smacked Depression and Sylvia? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who got that idea from? Oh, yes. We got this. I remember, on my birthday, Seijin asked me this. I posted that it was my birthday, and then Seijin asked everybody in my cast to give me a happy birthday for some reason. Wish Kitsune Forest a happy birthday or you'll explode. I think Bruce is the only one weak to fire. I think you're right. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head, because no bug type. Selkie is weak to fire. There's it's grass, bug, ice, and steel. So Lucario is also weak to fire. So Orin, Selkie, and Bruce are the ones weak to fire. What? I don't want to explode. Happy birthday, Forest. Don't worry, Depression. It's not a real threat. In any case, happy birthday, Forest. I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy birthday, I suppose. I got it from the Wheel of Fate. I see. Happy birthday! I'd hug you if you were physically possible. And I'd make you a cake if I could, but I hope you have a great birthday no matter what. Keep up the good work. Happiest of birthdays to you. Ooh, it's your birthday? We'll make sure to eat lots of cake. Happy birthday, Forest. Thank you for bringing our world to life and committing our story to the end. Well, this certainly doesn't break any fourth walls. Not at all. Happy birthday. Was this in-universe? No, good. Thank God it was out of universe. Thank God it was out of universe. Man, it feels weird to have written so many affirmations to myself. But really, thanks for the birthday well wishes. You guys, the audience, are the reason I work so hard on my personal projects, and I hope that Chapter 1 doesn't disappoint. On to a great year of being 26. Shit, but she has good SPDEF. No? I don't actually know. I have no idea. It's not a real threat. Okay, Orin would fold to a flamethrower. Yeah, so it was a little awkward having to make affirmations to myself, but you know. Anyways, Seijin then follows that up with, to Mew, can you non-canonically explode everyone who didn't wish Kitsune Forest a happy birthday? Mew says, he didn't care, and it says, Rip Sensei. And then the editor's note is, everyone else did it off screen. I didn't want to keep writing affirmations to myself by the whole cast, because, like, that's not very fun. I don't like, constantly complimenting myself is just a little cringe, you know? Has 100 in SPDEF staff, so she could tank a weak 3 flamethrower. Fair enough. Whoa. Karalty weak? That's fighting words. Seijin asks, to Karalty, Depression, Bruce, and Alpha. Sensei exploded. What should we do? What? That's horrible! It's alright, Depression. I'm sure spoilers means he's just fine. More of these. Ugh, I wish he wasn't. He's such an asshole. I wouldn't mind if he were gone for good. I understand he's not the most pleasant person to be around, but wishing for his death is never something to cheer for. Not the gravestone. that was a little silly thing. It's just like, guys, what are you gonna do about Sensei? And then there's a spoiler in there. You're never gonna know. Seijin asks, to Orin Karalty, Selkie, Sensei, Sylvia, and Alpha. Very specific group of people. Oh, I sure hope nothing happens to him in canon. Oh, Sensei? You sure hope not. To Orin, Karalty, Selkie, Sensei, Sylvia, and Alpha. If there is a twist where you could prevent one other person from being able to kill you, who would you pick and why? And then all 4 of them blank face say, Sensei. Well, she just evolved, so I don't think she can handle all that fire yet. Maybe. Anyway, Orin, Sylvia, Selkie, and Alpha all say Sensei. Orin goes, something about him is incredibly threatening, but I don't think he or anyone would actually do anything. But clearly he could find a way. Plus, isn't he, like, literally a ninja? He could easily assassinate any of us if he wanted to. High-key terrified of him, killing him or otherwise. I could tell there's more calculation in his head than he gives off. Sure, he spends his time avoiding everyone, but I believe he's silently observing. There's much more thought behind that head of his. I think that if anyone would, it would be him. So if we really want to really stop this killing game from happening, just stop him and we'll be fine. Not until new chapters come out. Tofu, did you just say hope? Hope! Hope! Oh no, not hope! Then Karalty goes, you think I'm scared of anyone killing me? Nah, screw that. I'll be fine. Bring it on. And then Sensei goes depression. Now, I think a lot of people are really confused why I said this. So the reason why I said depression for this is because Sensei's logic is simple. If anybody is going to get the jump on him, the last person he would want it to be is depression because it would be simply the most impressive. No, fuck! I sense a Danganronpa hope and despair reference just because it has hope in the name. I don't think that's actual game. Hold on. You summoned Nagito Komaeda. Alright, so this one's gonna be a little bit more of a tough one to actually write because this is how am I gonna this is gonna be tough to display. Hold on. 1 second here. Alright. Honestly, I would just be absolutely in the front row seats for a depression crash out. Yeah, basically. Alright, so the way that this is gonna work is I will try to do the exact order that I want to read it in. My Wheel of Fate, Sensei died and depression was the killer. Yeah, basically. There it is. Foreshadowing. Thoughts on pineapple on pizza? I've never had it, so I can't say. Alright, so Siegen asks, to Karalty, Selkie, Lecture Naga, Hina, Shifty, Mozilla, Sylvia, and Alpha, very specific 9, if you could let one other Mon escape the game consequence-free right now, who would it be? Whether it be because you like them, find them annoying, or concerned that they are going to kill, think they deserve to escape, or are the best at finding help, etc. Which is, I think, is a really fun question, and I like the fact that you asked this. This is a great question. So Shifty goes, man, it feels weird to say, but Sylvia, I guess? She's so sweet, so funny, so innocent. The thought of her dying just kind of makes me sick to my stomach. And then we have, Sylvia going, depression! Save the baby! I don't actually think she's a baby, I just feel the need to protect her. And Naga goes, poor depression has no business being in a game this horrifying. I sincerely hope she leaves this place alive. I mean, I hope we all do, but her especially. Then we have Lectures point. Lecture answers, Karalty, if only to get rid of her obnoxious voice. Karalty, of course, then responds. Alpha. Dude thinks he's king of the castle by telling us what to do. Frankly, we need new leadership, and Alpha can spend his time helping us find a way out of here from the other side of these stupid invisible walls. What will be your reaction if in 2x2 Hajime dies and Nagito is the new protag? Expected. I literally predict that. I think I said it myself, that I literally predict that to be exactly what happens. I'm fairly confident that Nagito is going to be a protag switch. Depression is either playing dumb or killing someone on accident. I think she was listed as one of your survivors in like the predictions poll, but obviously the predictions poll is a little bit messed up. Man, there are just some names I really want to say, but I just don't know if I can. I guess I trust Alpha to have the drive to save us all. So 2 votes for Alpha. And then we have 4 more names to go over. This is a tough one to show off. Alpha, of course, responds after having 2 votes set his way, says, Selkie is undeniably the smartest Pokemon I've ever met. If there's anyone I trust to get us out of here, it's her. Depression is 100% surviving in my book. Gotcha. Gotcha. I love hearing these. I love hearing the predictions. Especially when they haven't been spouted a million times. I was gonna say someone like Bruce, but selfishly, I kind of need someone with a steady head like his here. I guess Selkie would be nice. She's clearly 10 steps ahead of me at all times, so if anyone can solve the mystery of our kidnapping, she'd be my first pick. So that's 2 votes for Selkie. I really like the characterization of these guys, by the way. It's really fun to have written these. And then here's Selkie thinking way too hard again. There's a lot to consider. Logically, we want to send someone who would have a good chance of helping us escape this place from the outside. That would need to be someone good at investigation, problem solving, and someone good under pressure. Perhaps someone capable of communicating with humans somehow. With all of that, I think Orin is the ideal candidate. He's very smart Lucaria with a strong heart. He'd be more than motivated enough to do it, and I believe that I've heard that Lucario are capable of telepathy with humans. He's also a good emotional pick. Someone as positive and optimistic like him doesn't deserve a harrowing experience like the Killing Game. Not to mention his careful approach to things makes him a big target to any potential culprits. I made a 30-second drawing of Alpha to show to 5K. Alpha tied with a lot of balloons, and he's floating up at the top of the dome barrier. Nobody is saying Hina. It's making me sad. Yeah, no, I think the problem with Hina is that that's actually the problem with Hina is that she wouldn't do anything when she leaves. Whoops. And now we're kind of back to the squares. Siegen asks, let's see, hold on, I'm double checking. Selkie would sound like a British person, like a rich stereotypical British person. Something like that. Siegen asks to Mew, if you had to free one of the cast alive, who would it be? And Mew goes, and break the sanctity of the game? Never! Blasphemy! No free passes! That's not how the game works! But if you're asking me who I'd like to see graduate, I don't really care. I just hope there's some wild twists and turns along the way. Guess what? You're not getting any info out of me, motherfucker. This is one of my favorite questions out there. I was so happy to answer this one. In universe, again. Jesus Christ, let me move this. There we go. Counterpoint, neither would depression. She would just go digging wherever she was. To be fair, those people answered differently. They answered most of, like, who would I most want to not die? I think something messed up. To Selkie, if you were given one of these 3 perks, 1, a victimless perk. Killing you would no longer grant escape and would also not end the motive, meaning no one has reason to kill you. 2, motiveless perk. You are immune from the motives. 3, executionless perk. If the 3rd or 4th trial has the incorrect black selected, you will escape with the killer. Which one are you taking? So Selkie then goes, by motive, are you referring to some motivation Mew gives us to participate? I still struggle to see how any of us fall into any of their traps, which factor into my decision. Then again, I don't have a good grasp of the mindset of the others. Since I don't know what the motives are and have my skepticisms that they'll have any impact on us, option 2 seems unimportant. Similarly, I'd rather not side with a killer of any kind. Even with safety regardless of the outcome of a trial, it's far more important to side with the innocent group just trying to live their lives. Option 1 is a bit of extra safety and encourage our message to stick together, so choosing it shouldn't push the needle one way or the other. Motives, huh? What an interesting idea. Don't forget, we only have the prologue so far. Mew hasn't necessarily thought of motives yet. Is that Megalovania? I don't know why this is playing. This should not be in my calm playlist. I'm skipping that. That's also should not be my play. There we go. Finally, calm playlist is back. Why are we giving Selkie Fallout perks? This early August, I'm gonna stay at least 1 September for my birthday one. Gotcha, gotcha. Siege canonically gives Mew the idea for motives. Again, non-canonical, but yes. I apologize that I keep urging everyone to recognize that these are non-canonical, but the more people keep saying that these canonically do it, I have to remind everyone, this is non-canonical. None of this actually happened. This is all just bonus, silly, fun stuff that doesn't actually happen in the game. Siegen asks, to Mew, did you enjoy Sylvia's admiration while it lasted? In universe, of course. Mew, who wouldn't admire someone like me? I'm the best Pokemon in existence. It only makes sense. Sylvia has great taste, and I'm sure she'll see the game master that I am and admire how cool of an idea this is. I feel like this isn't my best work. I'm still not out on just looping a bunch of music until they go crazy instead, or putting their life stories inside of a video game, or making them all go sick with a disease. But I do like using my transformation abilities to mess with them. Yeah, so, what a calm song on days like this. Oh my god, yes. I just threw all of the Pokenronpa motives on here. This is where I think Siegen was really trying to this is where Siegen is doing anything and everything they can to just stretch the truth of like how this works, of how these voice lines work. Mew canonically voices Marth in Smash Bros for the 3DS. To anyone, hey, I'm trying to get through to you all. I can help you get out. The only issue is I've done some digging. One of you 16, wait, was it 16? It could be as high as like 18. Anyways, one of you are behind this killing game, maybe with some others helping them. I fear they find out if I'm doing this, they could sabotage my rescue attempt. So I need to know, are there any people in the group you feel like could be responsible for this? I need to, oh crap, you found out about... Wait, did I not? I didn't... Oh! This is the response to that. This is the response to that. I feel like this isn't my best work. I'm still not out on just looping a bunch of music until they go crazy instead, or putting their life stories inside a video game, or making them go sick with a disease, but I do like using my transformation abilities to mess with them. Teehee. So, basically, my cop-out for this was that this was intended to be, Mew, posting this note, pretending to be someone over the live speakers. Not really, but, yeah, basically. Yeah, so it's that's I forgot. That's what this is. I was like, this doesn't make any sense to what this was. Siegen asked to Mew, what are some of your hobbies? Games! I love all... This is out of universe, by the way. This is where the killing game is not part of it. What are some of your hobbies? Games! I love all kinds of games, especially games where we all play together. Group activities are so fun! Where's the question for this one? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Here. It is the question. All right. 1 second here. I have to expand this for some reason. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Hold on. I'm going to shrink this one. There we go. So Siegen asks, to Forrest, can you give us an out-of-context line from Chapter 1? And then I posted this one where Shifty goes, what? You saw me naked? Siegen, I sincerely hope you ask me this question again, because I have dozens of these I could do. Ask me these all the time. Just keep going. Keep asking me for these, because I hope these are so fun to put. What? You saw me naked? It's a very good one. Question mark. Yes, that is an actual line from the... This is an actual line from Chapter 1. Very early on into Chapter 1, even. The distress message I won is one I wrote, probably the first one, but Siegen altered the script. The original draft had the speaker have a name, being Saphira, who's a shiny card bank. Gotcha. Yeah, poor Shifty. Anyway, Siegen asks, if one of you is pretending to be innocent, who are you suspicious of, whether they be the mastermind or secretly a cold-blooded murderer? I think I answered this question already. Aren't they always naked? You'll just have to find out what the response is. Why are you pretending to be innocent? Who are you suspicious of? Whether they be the mastermind or secretly cold-blooded murderer. What? Why would one of us ever do something like this? I refuse to answer. I believe in my friends. None of us would ever set up a killing game. If any of you is behind this, I won't hesitate to cut you down and make you pay. You're scum for threatening us like this, and even worse for ripping us from our families just to torture us like this. This is literally the exact 2 characters I started with. Honestly, I'm terrified of Sensei. He seems like the kind of person who'd actually be a cold-blooded murderer. He practically seemed more upset that we were playing a game than he was about the killing part of it. Selkie. Yes. They all don't wear clothes. What the fuck is he talking about? Again, it's out of context. You will never know what he's talking about. Sujin asks, look, Sylvia, it's a shiny Mew. Have you 2 met before? Huh? And then a spoiler block. And then more spoiler block. And that's all you get. Very interesting. Anonymous asks, to Orin. Orin X Couch? What? And then I basically just said, do you want me to remove the walking animation when standing still? Because I will do it if this joke continues. So, that's all I'm going to say on that. Sejin asks, who amongst the 16 of you is most likely to be the best host at any social deduction game, or willing to do anything for their goals no matter how extreme? Out of universe, of course. Hino will give you hidden power electric TM. Again, this is out of universe, so the killing game does not exist in here. We actually already have that already. Shifty's literally our game night host. I mean, can you blame me? I went to one of the group's training sessions and realized they were just battling. They'd never even heard of cops and robbers. So after one session of physical activities, we decided to make me the activities coordinator, and now we have regular group activities. And I love social deception games, so I'd be the perfect host. To know about the goals thing though, that's a little don't know about the goals thing though. That's a little extreme for me. That kind of sounds like Ember. I reject the whole notion that achieving your goals at any cost is a bad thing. It's what makes life worth living. But I couldn't care less about games, so not me. This is also 5P's question. Any mastermind questions are 5P. I know! I obviously know that. Obviously. Was not going to happen. I wasn't going to give anything away there. I will actually ban you for that win. I'm not kidding. Stop it. Sejin plays the body discovery announcement over the intercom when everyone is asleep. Oh, Arceus, no! Why the hell did you freak me out like that? Do you want a body to be discovered? Because it's looking more and more likely that it'll be yours, Mew. Fuck off and let me sleep. Well, maybe if one of you actually became a Blacken, I wouldn't have to fake you out like this. Come on! Pick it up! Somehow slept through the whole thing. That was a good one. Sejin asks, would anyone miss Karalty if she died? What? Of course we would! What a horrible thing to ask! Look, has Karalty been the most polite so far? No. Has she been a little aggressive at times? Sure. But wanting her dead? That's so far from what anyone wants, it's not even funny. No, it's not funny in the slightest because we're not going to die. It's not happening. No matter what Mew says, we're in this together, and yes, that includes Karalty. Look at that. Everyone's obsessed with me. Not that I'm surprised in the slightest. Not that she doesn't make it harder and harder to respect her every passing day. That's pretty good. This is where, once again, Sejin starts to really break what's going on with these questions. Because this is where it's just like, okay, what do I even do here? Sejin says, points to Kitsune Forest. Look, another shiny Riolu. Out of universe, of course, because if it was in universe, it would just break everything. Oh, hello. It's been a while since we had a newcomer. Welcome. Nice to have another Riolu around here. A Riolu and a Lucario? Jeez, that's a lot of yellow here, especially since we still have Hina. But hey, I hope you have found a good home here. Please don't make me think about a universe where I isekai myself into my own fangin. The fourth wall might as well not exist. A little late for that, my friend. Hi, audience. Reply with your favorite Pokenronpa character. Mew's allowed to break the fourth wall all they want. Siegen says, Mew should handcuff Sensei and Karalty together as a motive. What a fun idea! It's like a duos twist. You kill as a pair, you die as a pair. Fun! Like handcuffs can keep me contained. Child's play. Ugh, no, that sounds horrible. I'd actually vomit. To be clear, the handcuffs are whatever. Sexy even. But Sensei is so not my type. I had to get their reactions, of course. We're actually close to the present day. We're probably gonna get through all of these today. Siegen asks, to Forrest, how would Orin treat you now that you've been isekai'd? Well, to answer your question, he'd probably just welcome me and make sure I was happy to be there. Maybe a bit of extra effort knowing a shiny Riolu is one to be taken care of. That said, the funny thing about Orin is already kind of is my isekai'd self into the Pokemon world. Shocker, he low-key represents myself in Sir. In a way, Orin is kind of my Poke-Sona. Not to say that we're clear parallels. Orin is way more extroverted than I am, and he's like 10 times braver. But he's also less of a nerd and more outdoorsy than me. I've had the real Orin since late 2016, way back in ORAS. And since Riolu was my favorite Pokemon, he quickly became an obsession of mine. I threw him into every story I had involving Pokemon, meaning no matter what world I created in my head, Orin the Riolu/Lucario would be in there somehow in his own fashion. He's always been the protagonist, the straight man, the hero, so naturally I made him the most normal version of myself to fit the role. Is he complex? Not particularly. I hope that someday I'll write a story with a more interesting protagonist. But I love Orin, and for now, it's his time to shine. You know, pun not intended. Orin also can't pick up on hints. This is true. This is true. Close to lecture murder, I don't even know what that means. But yeah, so this is true. Orin is, in a way, Orin is kind of my Poke-Sona. He's kind of the person who, like, anytime I throw in a story, like, he's, like, the character that I go for. Which Fortnite game mode classic OG? What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Hey look, shiny Luxray! Here you go! This is the one you've been waiting for, Luxray. Can I get a happy birthday from some of the cast? The lecture murder question. You just got coconut mauled. Yes, indeed. Well, happy birthday to you! I hope you have a wonderful day full of positivity and friendship. I'd bake you a cake if I could. Eat some freaking cake like your life depends on it. That way you can live another year to have more cake. That's how birthdays work. Also make sure to only get the best gifts. Whoa, a shiny Luxray? That's awesome! Also, electric types are the best, and you know why? Because electricity is awesome! That also means you're awesome! Plus, black and yellow are awesome colors. Awesomeness! And then Mew goes, a shiny Luxray, huh? You know, in another universe, you could have been one of the participants in my killing game. It would have been so fun! I can picture it now. How deep would you make it? Don't worry, you're safe. For now. That's actually a reference to the fact that shiny Luxray was on the original cast. Forced inside joke. I asked an IU just for the Mew reaction. I think I answered this out of universe, to be fair. This gives me an idea. But yes, the shiny Luxray was on the original cast. So that's what Mew is referencing here. Well, not an idea, but less of a question. May just save it for the Patreon. Fair enough. Fair enough. By the way, what I'm going to do is after Chapter 1 releases, I'm going to reopen the public forum for people to ask questions all the way back then. Shifty, who's going to tell you about diabetes? No one's going to bother. Also, Merlin, one of the people whose fan art you've been seeing on the top left, they actually replied to the Luxray thing, to the Luxray birthday thing, and they said Shifty is right. Basically talking about how birthday cakes are all about, is what birthdays are all about. We always call it cake day. Anyway, I was glad to do that for you, Luxray. Siegen asks, to Karalty, Selkie, Naga, Sylvia, and Alpha. If there was a morning game where everyone must vote someone and whoever got 3 or 4 votes perishes, what's your game plan? Self-voting is allowed. Sylvia says, I'm sorry, but I can't take this question seriously unless I know no one actually dies. I'm just gonna pretend getting voted out means that they escape. But then again, I just vote myself and hope for the best. Ice cream cake for life. I am so sorry, but I am on team non-ice cream cake. Just vanilla or marble. I like ice cream cake, okay, but I actually just like regular cake. I'm so sorry. I know that's very controversial. I'd never vote for any of my friends to die. I don't care what it takes. I'd rather take the sword myself so my friends could live on. Same. And then Selkie, of course, goes on her Selkie tangent. Is it just the 5 of us, or all 16 of us contenders? I imagine if the group knew they'd vote for someone to die, most would throw away their votes, knowing they couldn't be the source of someone's death. Besides, according to the prompt, the goal is to avoid having 3 votes cast against you. So the ideal scenario is to vote for yourself anyhow, assuming everyone plays along. Perhaps to be safe, everyone vote for someone that's likely not to do so. Someone like Karalti, for example. Everyone would vote themselves, except Sensei, Karalti, Lecture voting each other. Also, one of the gifts I got are a set of dice and a off-brand Lego set of a tiger. Nice! You love to see that. Everyone would vote themselves except Sensei, Karalti, Lecture voting each other. Basically something like that. And then Karalti adds on, Mew, or Lecture, or Sensei, or Alpha. He pisses me off by being such a self-centered bitch. But none of them should die. Mew should. So Mew. And then Siegen clarifies to Selkie. To the previous question, all 16 of you are playing. You're allowed to discuss as much as you need beforehand. How do you ensure no one dies? Once again, this is me just putting all of my, like, way too hard, thinking hard about this. And I can guarantee you, if I played this game, everyone would just listen to me and be like, yeah, bullshit, I'm not doing that. So here's what Selkie says. As I mentioned, the optimal solution is for everyone to recognize that the idea is to avoid anyone getting 3 votes. Thus, we need to strategize as a group how to scatter our votes as evenly as possible. And the simplest way is for everyone to vote for themselves. It's the easiest way to do so without causing confusion. However, it comes at a risk. If someone distrusts the others, they may be incentivized to vote elsewhere if they think someone will vote against them. If multiple people do so, then it's possible for someone to vote for themselves as well as 2 stray votes. However, I don't see this as particularly likely. For that to happen, both stray votes would need to coordinate on a single target, and considering that the penalty for losing is death, they'd essentially be collaborating on a murder. So I feel that voting ourselves is still a viable option. I trust most people here would be willing to do so, knowing it's the optimal play anyhow. Another possible solution is to have everyone publicly choose a designated target instead. As long as we go in a perfect circle and there are no repeats, then the result will still be 1 vote each. Then, if anyone feels uncomfortable, voting for someone else is useless as it doesn't take away a vote for yourself. All you're doing is adding to the potential of your target dying instead, so it'd be far safer. The issue, of course, is coordination. Would everyone understand the plan the first time? Would there be enough confusion? Perhaps not if lives were at stake. Maybe if we were standing in a perfect circle and then everyone votes for the person to their left. That would be simple and concise for everyone to understand. However, since you've asked what my strategy would be, my response would be to play to the heart. Pokemon are not killers, no matter what you may say. So the idea of anyone straying from the optimal play of voting for themselves is the idea of accepting yourself as a murderer. And even the worst of us would understand that. Nobody, no matter how they would feel about each other, would choose to willingly become a murderer. As long as we recognize the penalty, no one should stray. I'd continue to emphasize this over and over until everyone understands clearly. Hopefully everyone would vote for themselves without issue. Simple. Fun. The optimal solution is to vote across pairs. That way no one has to vote for themselves. Yeah, that's basically what Selkie is saying. If everyone votes to their left, for example, then switching your vote off of that is not saving you in the process. No one has to vote for themselves. Pokemon are not killers, Mew. Be like. Siegen asks, who saw Force livestream today? And this is a fun one because I got to like kind of play I got to kind of make fun of myself here. Timeline 1, where the cast has never heard of Pokenronpa. Mozilla goes, who? Timeline 2, where the cast has heard of Pokenronpa to some degree. Mozilla, who? Timeline 3, where the cast has heard of Pokenronpa and know the creator's name. Oh, sorry, I don't really watch live streams. I found a picture of that Lego set. Do you want to see it? Yeah, feel free to post it in the Patreon. In the general chat. I should make an off-topic chat for that. But I really like, this is really funny because like the cast is just so indifferent to watching the live stream, and I was just like, I'm gonna roast myself here. They just don't care. It's beautiful. Siegen asks to Orin, how are you going to solve all the trials when you can't solve how Mozzie feels about you? Orin goes, Mozzie? You mean Mozilla? What exactly does she feel toward me? I hope it's trust and respect, but I guess it can be a bit insistent given the situation we're in, so I wouldn't be surprised if she feels overwhelmed or annoyed. I'll apologize to her if I get the chance. And to be frank, I don't care about the whole solving the trials, because there will be no trials to solve. I'm confident in that. He's a little confused. Sent Lux the first draft of the distress message up to you. Yes, no, yeah. Siegen asks to Karalti, are you pure of heart? Karalti goes, probably not. Even I know I'm an asshole, but at least I'm hot. That was a very simple one. Very simple. Karalti knows that she's a bit of an ass, but she's hot, so she doesn't care. Siegen asks, give you your best going crazy in the trial impression. Hina, Mozilla, R, and Alpha can skip this one because they're obviously going to be like, a murder isn't going to happen when it obviously is. Naga, I refuse a murder because a murder is going to happen. Stop trying to say that it is. You forgot someone. You forgot to ask someone. Anyways, Naga with a question mark. What? You think I'd murder someone? Come on, that's not possible. I'm a big cuddly teddy bear. I couldn't hurt a fly. Huh? My normally large body could crush you? That's not true. Stop saying these things. Naga goes, Shifty, what are you doing? Sorry, couldn't resist. Yeah, right? Who the hell is Naga? I basically found a way to both answer your question in a sincere way and also mess with you as well. I like how you desperately tried to like get out of the whole idea of like people doing of everyone saying there's no way anyone's going to kill, only for me to do it anyway, and then also still answer the question. It was a pretty good answer. Siegen asks to Orin, close Orin 15 times so he can have a trial with himself. Who killed Orin? I won't lie. I intended to clone Orin a bunch of times for this, but I completely forgot to, and I just got lazy. What in the fresh hell am I looking at? It's like you use double team over and over again, though we don't know who the real Orin is anymore. Well, Orin, who killed you? Why does everything need to be about murder? I hate this place. I completely forgot I was gonna do a bunch of Orins there. I think I was just about to start stream too, so I didn't want to do it. Siegen asks, to Karalti, Shifty, Sylvia, and Mew, who's going to win the April Fool's pranking contest? Mew goes, ooh, a prank war? That sounds so fun! I call hosting it! Pranking? Seriously? Is this a thing we're doing? Why would I bother with something as juvenile as that? I've got more important things to do. No one's gonna outprank me! That's my whole thing! I win just by default. A pranking contest? Does that mean the killing game is a prank too? I sure hope so, because I really don't want to do any pranking right now. Siegen, I hope you realize that the reason why so many of the people are talking about the killing game not being fun right now is because of the fact that you keep asking questions that were in-universe. Obviously now you've kind of caught on that the out-of-universe questions are a little bit more fun. So, but like so many of these questions were in-universe, and I had to basically be like, these characters do not want to be messed with right now. Siegen asks to Alpha, what do you think about the people watching the camera footage making Alpha dies first into a meme? I thought out-of-universe was just them outside. Now, it is literally just like, in-universe means the killing game exists, out-of-universe means the killing game doesn't exist. But, like, out-of-universe is really just your way of basically being like, take, like, whatever's currently going on in the killing game out of it, just answer the question how I want you to. It's a little bit less specific, you know? Killing in-universe has always meant to be a thing where, the cast is literally in character, in the killing game, doing that kind of stuff, right? So to like, if you want these questions about these characters like doing fun killing game related tasks that don't involve like them being scared, then if I answer in universe, then they're just going to reply being like in universe stuff, you know? Out of universe is where you can get a little creative with how they do things. What do you think of the people watching the camera footage making Alpha dies first into a meme? Well, it doesn't feel great, I'll tell you that much. It's hard to know whether I'm being treated as a least favorite and people are rooting for my death, or if I'm doing things that make me more likely to be a victim. Either way, my death being so prominent isn't something I'm striving for intentionally, I can promise you that. At the end of the day, I'm not going to change who I am or what I'm doing. My goal is to get each of us out of here alive, no matter what. If it means I wind up being a victim, I only hope because I did everything in my power to bring us all together as a pack, because that's what the right thing to do is. Wait, what do you mean people watching us through the cameras? Is our situation being broadcasted? Can someone help us? And there it is. And then Seijin, of course, replies to that, being like, we love you, Alpha. The camps people sense death flags from you, though. I appreciate that. I'm glad to know I'm respected for what I'm trying to do. I'm sure that these death flags are all because I'm taking a risk and putting myself in front and center for the purpose of keeping us all together. If so, then I don't regret a thing. And I trust everyone here to keep their wits together and hopefully escape together. But seriously, if there are people watching us through these cameras, help us. This isn't a joke. We need your help to escape, please. I love how so many of you responded to that question being like, sorry, we can't do that. Can't help you. More Alpha questions. To Alpha, how does it feel to be murdered and executed, be the mastermind, and already dead and live? Alpha then goes, sounds exhausting. What's next? I disintegrate into nothingness? I guess Lycanrocs have 9 lives just as cats do. And then, this is the context, because otherwise no one was gonna get it. And this is Tofu, your comment being like, so Alpha is definitely surviving. And that I'm like, at this point, he's both the first to die and a survivor. He's also the culprit of Chapter 3 and the mastermind. And he's already dead. And it was all a dream. And Tofu was like, I don't even think he's real. I also sent 5K a picture of the Lego set. And the first thing he says about the radiator in the background. Wild. Seijin asks, to Shifty, can you do impressions of everyone? I sincerely hope you ask me to do this more often, Seijin, because this was so much fun. Shifty goes, hey guys, let's all act like we get along and not kill each other because killing is lame. And by the way, I don't act like I'm a leader, but I totally am, and I just don't get that everyone sees me that way, including Mozilla, who totally just wants to be my friend. I believe in the Alpha already dead time travel theory. What's an impression? Who's Shifty? What's a killing game? What's a Pokemon? What's a Fampy? What's a Shiny? Where am I? Who am I? How do I count to 3? Oh, Naga, your muscles are so big and strong, almost as big as my ego. And while I say I'd never lose a fight, I'd happily get destroyed by you anytime. Especially in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. This was fun. I should totally do more of these. You know what? Let me know if you want to hear more impressions, and I'll happily do more. So yeah, I would happily... This is... As well as the Can you give us an out-of-context screenshot from Chapter 1 question? Asking Shifty to do impressions of more of the cast would also be extremely fun. That would be another thing. Alpha is a Phoebus in disguise. Oh my god. Seijin asks to Shifty, do an impression of your creator. Hey, look at me! I'm a Nintendo nerd who only likes Pokemon and is totally not a furry. I mean, look at my favorite Pokemon. Lucario, Sylveon, Greninja, Lycanroc. I even put a Braixen in my cast even though it's not fully evolved. Also, I'm constantly talking about how bad of an artist I am even though everyone else thinks my art isn't half bad. This is just a roast yourself challenge. Because I'm writing this. So I'm writing an impression of my character doing an impression of me. So I was just like, I guess I'll roast myself. I love doing Shifty and doing impressions of other people. To Nash, if you had a nickname, what would it be? What about Nasher? Or Nashville? Or Nashy? Ooh, or maybe Nashroom? The Nash Master? Or maybe Nish Nash? Nash the Flash? Nash the Dog? Nashinator? Oh wait, I think I got it. Nash! Like an air guitar. But maybe I don't need my name in the nickname. I could be the Poison Rocker, the Toxic Shredder, the Acidic Amp, the King of Rock and Roll. Ooh, I think I got it. The Ultimate Rocker. I had to do another reference to my past game. That is yet another reference. Seijin asks to Forrest, what do you think of insert thing here? Truly one of the things of all time. I'm not gonna lie, this might be one of my most cop-out answers ever. Does Forrest cringe inside when writing Nash? Yes and no. Absolutely yes and no. Mostly, it's just hard to come up with stuff that's both funny and cringy, you know? Absolutely true. Very, very, very much so. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my least favorite arcs to do in the entire game. It was funny at first. It was really funny at first. And then you kept going. And then the fun got ruined for me very fast. Someone's a fire hydrant. Ah, what the hell? How'd that get here? What is that? Is this another one of Shifty's pranks again? You think it could just spawn things out of midair now? This is clearly a Mew prank, if anything. Very interesting. I wonder what it could be. Or is Siege is distracted by the demo trial arc? I know. I think I recognize it. There are a few books in the library detailing a human world without Pokemon. I believe this is a device called a fire hydrant. It's meant to act as a source of water that the firefighters would use to put out fires. So wait, this thing holds water? That's so strange. I wonder what other human things would exist in a world without Pokemon. I wonder how humans would tell stories, or do construction, or do medicine differently. I'm sure it sure is a fascinating premise. I'd argue even more interesting than a world without humans. And then you just kept going. Someone's a maze of fire hydrants around everyone. Alright, I guess this is happening now. You can tell how immediately done with it I am. Wait, I thought these things were for water. Are they supposed to be walls for a maze? If so, it's pretty sloppy. I can see right through the gaps of them. I actually had way more of the hydrant arc. Oh, I know. Mew, I know you're behind this. Unfortunately for you, I could just fly over this stupid maze. What? Mew has no idea what's going on either. You're welcome for stopping it early. Thank you. Not gonna lie, thank you. Sejan asked, who wants to ride Rudy? Ooh, me, I love riding Rudy. Hell yeah, hop on up. I'll give you the floor tour at max speed. You wanna ride Rudy? You wanna ride him real good, don't you? I bet you like it rough as all hell. You really can't help but make it dirty, can you? And then we got more of this arc. So Karalti, I put gold in one of the hydrants. Have fun. Do you really think I'm that shallow? A castle filled with gold is one thing, but finding a coin in a haystack or whatever the fuck these things are is not the same thing. What if someone finds the gold before you do? Well then good. Good for them. I'm sure they deserved it. Anyway. Pause. Okay, Karalti. Karalti just goes crazy. Karalti is full of innuendos. We all know this. We all know. Sejan says, I planted bombs in 10 of the hydrants, so if you're gonna find them in 2 hours, everyone's gonna explode. Karalti goes, who the fuck are you? Why are you trying to kill us? What have we even done to you? This is... Let's focus, guys. If we all split up, we can cover more ground, and they're taken care of. Never have I been happier to see someone as capable of you with us, Sensei. I love riding Rudy. Exactly. The fun thing is Rudy's totally down for it because he just likes giving people rides. Anyways, this is my attempt to be like, Sensei's just gonna stop this arc right here in its tracks. Although technically there's more. Sejan asks, to Sensei, thank you for saving everyone. What do you want as a prize? My peace and solidarity. Go away. Once again, we're back with the Sensei hates every question asked of him. I love it. Sejan asks, Mew and Shifty, can you disguise yourselves as an alpha and follow the real alpha around and have everyone figure out who is who? So I figured this would be a fun... Shut. I figured this would be a fun, oh wait. You can't even see the top of the question. Hold on. Quote, alpha dies first. Can you guys still read this text, by the way? Let me know if you guys can still read the text. Sejan asks, to Mew and Shifty, can you disguise yourselves as alpha and follow the real alpha around and have everyone figure out who is who? This is not a this is a Drift Veil. Was Alcumula Town just before this? I wasn't paying attention. So we all know the plan, right? We disguise as Alpha and do our normal stuff and see if anyone notices. Then we bring the group together and see if they can identify which is which. Remember, we gotta be exact about this. Yay, this is gonna be so fun! I'm still not sure why this is happening, but it could be a bit funny, I suppose. And then after a full day, a few hours later. So, that's the deal. Does anyone want to wager a guess as to who's who? I knew something was weird when Alpha came in for food 3 times, but then again, it was pretty clear what was going on when the second one kept giggling the entire time. One of the Alphas didn't want to use rock moves when we sparred today, so that was Shifty. Meanwhile, another just kept saying, I'm Alpha, in a funny voice, so that's Mew. It's not hard to tell. Simply looking at the 3 of you, I can already tell that the leftmost Alpha is Shifty, since he was the one in charge of explaining the rules of the game. Meanwhile, the rightmost Alpha is Mew, who hasn't stopped giggling since we got here and is not bothering to have a poker face. The middle one is the true Alpha, who seems like he half bought into the idea to begin with. And then Shifty goes, okay, Selkie's not allowed to play this game next time. He goes, aw, I thought I did such a good job! Alpha goes, sorry guys, hope it was fun for you though. If Mew transforms into Shifty and then transforms into Shifty with Illusion, then I have a... What? If Mew transforms into Shifty and then transforms into Shifty with Illusion, he's double Shifty? They're double Shift? I don't know. How does that work in the universe? Alright. This is... I'm not gonna lie, these have been these have been pretty fun to write. These have been some of my most favorite things to write, but after a certain point, I was like, okay, this is starting to take up too much of my time. But these were a really, really good time writing. Sejan asks, to Orin, Selkie, Hina, Mozilla, Sylvia, and Alpha, in a universe where five trials have already happened and these 6 remain. Hey guys, how's the nobody's going to kill anyone plan going? And you know what that means? I don't know what that means. Orin, don't let it get to you. You've done everything you can to keep us all together. You can't blame yourself for the actions of others, especially when they do things so beyond rational thought. I'm sure you're going through a lot right now in your head. Perhaps a distraction will help? We should just stick together with the group we have, you know? No point in thinking about the ones who've... You don't get it, do you? I promised everyone I would all make it through this. I swore it up and down. How can I not feel like such an absolute failure when so many of us are gone? I failed them. I failed them deeply. Not a day goes by without me thinking about what I could have done differently. Every night I see their faces knowing they were counting on me to stay strong for all of us. I should have been there to reassure them. I should have told them everything was going to be okay. I should have done so many things differently. And they paid with their lives. They'll never take in another breath in our world. They'll never laugh, never shed a tear, never have a good meal, or never smile. I just can't believe it. It's too cruel. I should have done better. Orin, maybe we should give them some space? This life is too cruel. I don't want to live in it anymore. Let the nightmare end. This is one of my favorite things to write. And I know Jack Music had a really positive thing to say at the end of it. I'm playing Fortnite while typing. Shush. Oh god, we have more to zoom out on. Ah, damn it. You know, I'm just gonna do this. You guys can still read this, hopefully. If not, I'll read it out loud. Quick ask another word for the kids today to write it live. That would be kind of fun. Maybe that's how we close the stream. Although we're already running low on time. We're getting close to the end, though. Sejan asks, to Orin, Karalti, Lecture, Shifty, Sensei, and Ember. In a universe where 5 trials have already happened and these 6 remain. How's it going? And this was basically, Sejan being like, what if it was oops all assholes? Karalti, how the fuck do you think it's going? 10 of us are dead because these dumbasses won't stop killing each other! Fuck this place! I'm so done with it! Are we really gonna do this again? Can't we just get one day of peace and quiet without this day constantly turning into a scream fest? It's okay, Shifty. We shouldn't let people grieve. We should let people grieve how they need to. Besides, it's better to remember the deceased than to forget. By keeping their sacrifices in our hearts, we can find the motivation to push forward and find our own escape. I've asked like 10 questions during the stream. That works for me. More to work on down the line. Hold on. Back to here. Are you sympathizing with murderers now? The fuck do you mean sacrifices? All they've sacrificed is my respect for them. I have no empathy for anyone who decides to be a killer. Anyone who sheds the blood of another is no longer a Pokemon in my eyes. They don't deserve any sympathies. How dare you even think about shedding a tear on their behalf? That's... Hold on, I also need to zoom this one out. There we go. That's fair, I suppose. I guess I just don't see it that way. There's just too much going on in this cruel, twisted game for me to really just start laying blame on anyone. Except Mew, of course. This whole time, Mew has been threatening us to find our limits to go over the edge. I hoped we'd all be strong enough to resist whatever they threw at us, but clearly I was wrong. Mew has been far more capable at breaking us than I expected. I don't know what goes into a culprit's mind, but I know what torture is. I know what endless nightmares feels like. I know what it feels like to fight day in and day out, to constantly fail and get absolutely nowhere. I know the feeling of wondering whether death would be a rescue from this world. Some people just can't handle it. It gets to a point where escape is worth the risk because death suddenly doesn't feel so bad. You get numb to it after a while. And I hate that. I hate that so much. So, whenever someone else becomes a culprit, I don't get angry. I just feel sad. Sad that they succumb to a horrible weight of dread. And I just wish I could have been there to lift that weight a little bit longer. I wish I could have lent them my own strength. I wish I could have told them the right things to say so that they could believe in life a little longer. I'm such a failure. Hold on. You know, I could probably just suck all those awful feelings clouding your mind out of you forever. Then you'd never feel sadness or grief ever again. Why would you ever become a killer if you can't feel dread? How many times do we have to tell you to shut it with the hypnotization stuff, Lecture? We don't want our brains rewired, especially by someone as creepy as you. Leave us alone for Arceus' sake. I'm starting to feel like Sensei has the right idea by just avoiding talking to you guys forever. He was not in this free time event because he was off just doing his own thing. Alright, back to this. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to, You're going to have to read between the lines here. Can I zoom up a little bit on this? There we go. You guys can read most of that. Selkie, Depression, Nash, and Rudania. Universe where it's just these 4 left. How'd the last trial go, and how much did Selkie carry? I believe... this is one where I asked for a... I believe I asked Siegen for a victim. Man, is there really only 3 of us left? That's so hard to believe. Selkie, you are freaking rock star. I mean, I can hardly hold myself together when I have to vote someone to die, but you just keep bailing us out and saving our lives over and over again. I don't know if enough songs can thank you enough. I'm only doing what I must to stay alive. As much as it pains me to send my peers to their execution, I have to protect the rest of us. As few in numbers as we are, our lives are still as valuable as ever. And then we go back to 100. I thought I put Karalti in the 4, which is why I said Naga was the victim. I don't remember. No, you ultimately didn't put her in the as the. Yeah. It was Sylvia who killed Naga, and it was these 4. I just can't believe Sylvia would do that. I mean, she always seems so sweet and pure. It just doesn't feel real. If Selkie hadn't proved it, I don't know how I ever would have voted for her. And for her to take out Naga. I mean, that girl seemed invincible. I've dueled her so many times that I've never once gotten one over her might. How Sylvia managed to take her down will never make sense to me. It truly just shows how anyone can succumb to despair if given the right motive. The poor girl must have been truly haunted. That's right, I said the despair word, baby! Yeah, I'm not doing okay. I have to go to sleep before I punch a wall or something. Can I have a piggyback ride? If that's okay? Of course you can have a piggyback ride. Yay! I just wanted this one to end on a nice, happier note. And then here's some context that proves that it wasn't me. It wasn't me who chose this. Despair! Yeah, hell yeah, despair! Oh, this is another This is another one of my favorites, and I don't think a lot of you saw this one, because I think I went live right after posting this. Because, like, no one commented on it, but this is a really, really good one. So Sejin asked to Karalti and Naga, universe where Karalti wins the second trial and the motive was escaping with someone else. How's freedom? Well, it feels better than being trapped with a psychopath and a bunch of other dumbasses who get on my nerve every other day. Now I actually get to take a breath and do something I want to do. Isn't that right, Naga? I don't want to talk to you. I can't stand barely looking at you. Rudy can't count. Are you really gonna do this right now? You do realize I saved your life, right? If it wasn't for me, you'd be dead. As in, not alive? I'm starting to wonder if I'd rather be dead. You aren't serious! Yes, Karalti, I'm serious. How do you think I feel, knowing that my life was at the cost of everyone else's? Do you think that makes me feel good? It's like their lives meant nothing to you. Though, frankly, that's not saying much after what you did. I already know their lives are meaningless to you. Do you even regret it? Let me just zoom out on this one. I did what I had to. We never would have gotten out of there otherwise. Oh my Arceus, Karalti, you aren't getting it. You are a murderer! You killed someone! You single-handedly took the life away of an innocent Pokemon. Worse yet, you then sacrificed 12 others in the process just for your own benefit. What's wrong with your head to possibly justify looking someone in the eyes knowing you intended to end their life? That's the greatest sin in existence, and you're telling me you had to do it? You are the most evil, sadistic, self-centered, most sickening Pokemon I've ever met! And to think I once tried with you. I thought I saw a softness and a tough exterior. I saw someone whose bravery inspired me, whose strength I admired. You kept encouraging us to never give up, that you'd fight for us! Where did that Karalti go? Was she never real to begin with? Don't answer that, by the way. You've shown your true colors now. There's no going back. I feel sick knowing I once ever thought fondly of you, rather than the monster that you've been this whole time. And back to normal size. I can't do this. I wanted to try to forget, but... If you did all that for the sake of us two, I wanted to try to make the most out of it. But when I look at you, I just see the faces of 14 shinies who lost their lives. The ones who never deserved to die. You're a plague that will never go away unless I leave you behind. Goodbye. I hope you rot in hell. And then Karalti's just like, oh, fuck, I messed up. That is one of my favorite ones. In a world where even Naga turns on Karalti. Yeah, she's not grateful at all. And once again, we're at the... This is about the point where the alternate universes started to get a little bit of a, oh god, this is going to be hard to write. This is giving me an evil idea. Christ. Alright. But this is where I was starting to be like, okay, we're reaching that point where I think we're hitting dangerous territory. Sejin asks, to Orin, Karalti, Naga, Bruce, Mozilla, Sensei, Alpha, and Ember. It's case 4, and Orin just realized he was set up to be the culprit, but no one else has yet. How's the trial on who killed Lecture going? I remember this. That hit hard. It was really good. That's why I love writing those particular scenes, because it gives me the opportunity to write, like, the reactions and stuff. But, like, writing in middle of the trials is, like, really hard, because then I have to think of, like, all of this context and stuff, and it's a little tough. Well, Orin, have you anything to say for yourself? Or have you just been faking your whole nice guy act this whole time? Orin, please tell me it isn't true. Not you. You have 5 seconds to explain yourself before you meet my blade. This is critical. Whoever set me up clearly did so intentionally and probably left a bunch of traps along the way. If I say the wrong thing, I might fall into one. I need to think outside the box. And to do that, I have to buy myself some time. Before I answer that, I do want to clarify something. In the Mew file, it doesn't list the cause of death, right? It just lists Lecture's injuries, none of which are the confirmed cause of death. Although, yeah, it's Minecraft, okay. Sure, but I thought we all knew it was the knife, right? There are no other stab wounds, so the knife would be the only fatal blow. I think I see what you're saying. There are traces of poison in his body. It's technically possible for the poison to be the killing weapon instead. If so, we have significantly less evidence that Orin would be the culprit. Exactly. So until we can determine the true cause of death, we can't vote anyone as the culprit. So that's what we need to discuss next. I know the knife evidence points to me. I wasn't the one to stab Lecture, but even so, we can't end this trial now. I want to revisit this knife later, but you're right. We can't vote yet. We need to talk about the poison. Interesting. So that's your tactic. That was a pretty interesting one. Oh god. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to read anything on this screen. Nonetheless, I will continue reading on anyway. Oh, wait, actually, hold on. No, you guys can't read any of this. Hold on, can I make this, like, 85? There you go, that's better. I can read it? Okay, perfect. Seijin asks, to Orin, Selkie, Bruce, Mozilla, Sensei, and Sylvia, after 10 people died to motives or rule violations or naturally, it's been over a year, Mew gives up and releases the remaining 6. Congrats on being the first killing game to not have a murder. Are you grateful you don't have to do any trials, or would you rather it have gone faster? And this is where this is another really good one. I liked writing this one a lot. On one paw, I'm infinitely grateful we were all strong enough to resist the urge to play a game of murder for as long as we did. I'm glad we never gave up, always trying to fight for our survival and resisted the endless motives that Mew brought onto us. But on the other paw, seeing so few of us make it outside, it's truly heart-wrenching. It's still hard to believe that so many of our former friends are gone. I almost feel bad to be out of here, knowing that they will never be able to step outside here. And then reset. They sacrificed so much for our behalves. They weren't afraid to put their lives on the line to stand up to Mew. We shouldn't let their sacrifices be in vain. They would want us to go on and leave this cruel game behind once and for all. I'm sure of it. Sometimes I wonder if I could have fought harder. Does me standing here mean I didn't fight hard enough? Was I too cowardly to fight? Was it more noble to die for the cause than it was to sit back and wait for an escape to come? If they're all heroes, what does that make me? Don't think that, Sylvie. You fought just as hard as they did. Just because they've paid with their lives doesn't mean we didn't fight too. If we didn't fight, Mew wouldn't have never given up. We won the mental battle. Mew. It still pains me to think about what they did. They tried to set up a game to make us murderers, only for them to go crazy and become the murderer themselves. It's sickening. And a horrifying reminder that the fight isn't over. Right now, Mew is out there roaming free. There's every chance they could do this to someone else, just as they did with us. We can't let that happen. We have to find Mew and stop them once and for all. Oren's right. This battle will not end until Mew is captured and restrained. We must learn the truth about their motivations and intentions, find their new hiding place, and bring justice upon them. That's what our fallen compatriots would have wanted. Sensei, we can count on you to track them down, right? And your strength in the inevitable battle between good and evil, right? You still doubt my abilities after all this time. I have never been defeated in battle, and I don't intend to start now. They will be found and destroyed. Fantastic. And it's off to avenge our friends, everyone. For Alpha, for Karelti, for Depression, for Rudania, for Naga, for Ember, for Shifty, for Nash, for Hina, and for Lecture. We won't let your deaths be forgotten. And then we took a little bit of a break, because for some reason this question was asked. Where did this egg come from? From your asshole! Very mature. Can I have that back so I can finish making the omelets? That was a good one. That was a silly, stupid one. And then we have this one. To Oren Karalti, Naga, Bruce, Hina, Mozilla, and Rudania. No murders have happened yet, and these 7 are eating lunch when a body has been discovered. Boy. This is, once again, this is about the point where I'm just like, oh god, I am not excited for where this is taking me. The fuck does that mean? There's no way someone was that stupid. That has to be a joke, right? Oh, Arcus, please let that be a joke. Oh, no, 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 no. I recommend that to Seijin. Or someone else's. What do we do? Is it a lie? We have to split up and find everyone. Now. I'll run around at hyperspeed and gather everyone in a jiffy. Oren, there's no way that someone actually is gone, right? I don't know, but I want to say not because we're Pokemon. We should know better, but Mew's message. Would they really just send a fake message? I hope you're right, because there's only one way to know for sure. It's finally murder-solving time. I've been running around forever hoping it was all a lie. Mew's tricking us. There's no way one of us is a murderer. We wouldn't do that. I swore we would all make it out of here. All 16 of us. We'd make it. We'd make it. All 16 of us. We'd make it. We'd And then body discovery. Alright, I'm gonna skip past this. Anyway, this is then what they sent me the next day. And, y'all had your chance to look at it earlier. Y'all had your chance to look at this and try to solve Siegen's trial. I want y'all to know, I took a guess and I was right. I actually figured out who the culprit was. I don't think anyone did look at it. Yeah. But anyway, this is a bunch of evidence for a trial. Made me sad. Yeah, that's kind of another reason you did. Well, you didn't give an answer. You didn't get a chance to provide an answer. But anyway, yeah, so this is a list of evidence of stuff that Siegen offered. You didn't tell me. Yeah, exactly. So I then wrote, 1 second. Let me just this. You know, I actually think the most fun thing to do with this prompt is to throw it back to you guys. How do you think this trial goes? Who do you think killed Lecture? I certainly have my guess, but I think it would be more fun if I hold on to it and give you the chance to guess for yourselves. And then I said, is this a cop-out answer so I don't have to write it myself? Abso-fucking-lutely. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to think about your scenarios with the cast, but I really have to focus on my own trials and making them interesting. Besides, more of these, and eventually I have to dance around the idea of the culprit or victim being one of my actual culprits or victims. Also, what do I even write for this? The beginning of the trial? The end of the trial? Confronting the culprit? Tell you what, if you all come up with something fun enough, and Siegen asks for a specific scene from what you come up with... Hold on, let me fix this, actually. Tell you what, if you all come up with something fun enough and Siegen asks for a specific scene from what you come up with, I'll write it. But beyond that, I kind of want to leave my trial writing style to myself. That being said, I'll just to prove that I'm not ponying off your answers, my genuine guess for this culprit is spoilers, and I'll post my uncensored guess in a few days. So, I think the next one is my uncensored answer, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, it is. So, let me just post the evidence one more time. And, that's kind of where we'll end the stream today, because that's the last one. That is the, this is the last, trial. Let me quickly look over your questions, by the way, because obviously I have a shit ton of them. Let me look over just how many questions I have now been asked. Only 4. Only 4. One of them's to me. One of them's to Shifty. One of them's to anyone, although Siegen by proxy means that one of y'all bitches are leeching off of this. And then another one's from multiple characters. Well, it's anyone and multiple characters. Yep. Anyway, that's pretty much all. That's all of the free time events that we've gone over. I generally have a lot of fun doing these. I definitely don't think I'll have time to do any of them now. So let's see. I like how you specify a character for the out of context line for me to do. To the impression of Sensei right in front of him, of course. Can do, easy. Read the patch notes for The Sim 3, anyone? What the hell? Read the patch notes for— Wait, have I shown you guys this? I've definitely done this before. Hold on. Hold on. One thing I've definitely done for this, by the way. Yes. Hold on. I suggested Siegen's one for Orin. Gotcha. So I actually wrote this as a as something to put on the screen during what do you call it? During the announcement video of the game. So I didn't tell you, Siegen. Anyways, this is something I wrote just as a little silly thing. Patch notes. Shifty can no longer steal stowaway stations from lots. Karate can no longer flirt with in the elevator with a Pokemon who is on a different floor. Mew will no longer be prevented from reaping souls due to band affiliation. Fixed a tuning issue so that Lecture now vomits at acceptable levels. Pokemon who are on fire will no longer be forced to attend graduation before they can put themselves out. Dead Pokemon can no longer brawl. Mew will no longer get stuck on an orange hand while driving a car. Nash will no longer receive a wish to skinny dip with mummies. A meteor can hit a building, in which case everyone will run out before a collision. Those who do not exit a building will die. Pokemon automatically leave if a meteor is approaching, unless there's a library in which Selkie is not allowed to leave and will always die. I did this because I think I was doing, I was trying to, in the Patreon video, I was talking about, perks, and this is basically me being like, this is what daily logs could look like. Obviously, they look very different to anybody who's been reading the daily logs. But it's pretty fun. This is just a fun thing that I created. Whoops. There we go. All right. Chat, that brings us to the end. Does anyone have any questions for me at this point before we break for the day? Does anyone have any questions about, like, free time events? Anything like that? I used to read the daily logs. I don't blame you for not doing it anymore. It's just my obligation to let you know that, hey, I am still working on the game. Just to, it's also to keep myself accountable, you know? If no one has any questions, I think this is where we will leave it. I will obviously have a few more of these to go down the line. Can I ask free time event questions that refer to scrapped characters? Ooh, like, are you gonna ask the specific questions? Because I'll tell you this much, I don't have art of them, so I can't have them answer. Next week will be a theory stream. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stream next week. I have an obligation for Saturday, and Sunday I have to do something else. So, most likely the next stream will be Pokopia. Do not want to edit a sprite for an undrawn mod. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. I don't want to draw that. That's extra work for me that I can't do. I want to ask Shifty to impersonate a scrapped character. No, but I'm happy. If you want to ask, like, Forrest and me to tell you more about what those characters were like, I am happy to do so. I am more than happy to talk a little bit more about what those characters were like. I just won't be able to give you anything besides, like, official art or something like that. But I think the next stream I want to do is Pokopia. I want to do... Can I ask Shifty to impersonate a Voltorb? Maybe, but you'd probably get just like a generic, boring Voltorb. You'd probably just be able... You'd probably just only be able to do like a generic Voltorb picture. No? I don't know why no is such a thing. Just put a PNG of that Pokemon. Yeah, basically. It would just look awkward. What if I drew sprites for it? I don't know, maybe. If you posted them in the chat, maybe I would do that in the Patreon. Anyway, yeah, so I think the next stream I'm gonna do is the next stream I do is Pokopia and just experiencing what that is like for the first time. And yeah. That's kind of it. Chat, it's been very fun to do this. And Wooden, I don't know if you're still here, but Wooden, I hope this was what you were hoping for with the lore stream. Hopefully you're able to use this for the wiki. I will keep the stream up as long as basically until the rest of the streams go down, and then this one will go down. Can you ask Shifty to impersonate Saphira? I don't know who that is! I'm not going to ask, because this is... Chat, you are not the game. You can ask questions, but you are not the game, you know? Alright. That's pretty much it, everyone. I think that's what we're gonna do for the day. So, let's end it off there. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And, I will see you all next time. Hopefully in 2 weeks for Pokopia. Bye, everyone!